1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the AHL TV test for the road feed, the Cleveland feed, Cleveland at Toronto AHL game. All right, thank you. Well, that is as close as the Monsters would come despite a fabulous effort in front of an even more fabulous crowd at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse on Friday night. The Charlotte Checkers prevailed 2-1, so Cleveland's winless streak to 4 games, but today, the final game of the regular season, 76 of 76, and at Coca-Cola Coliseum, the place where the Monsters played their first road game this season. They play their last here this afternoon. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to what is truly a must-win game for the Cleveland Monsters. Tony Brown here with you on Alt 99.1. Today's game is brought to you by Discount Drug Mart, the store that saves you the runaround, and by Jack Cleveland Casino. Sign up for Club Jack today. Play $10, get $10. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 800-589-9966 or visit org.ohio.gov. The Monsters 36-29, 8-2, tied in the point column with Belleville. Belleville in action right now. They trail Rochester 3-2 in the middle of the third period down the QEW here in Ontario in Belleville. If Rochester wins that game in any way, shape, or form, a Monsters win here would put Cleveland into the Calder Cup Playoffs for just the third time in franchise history. Meanwhile, Toronto locked into the 3 seed in the North. They're resting almost every key player in their lineup. We talked to Monsters head coach John Madden before the game today. He reflected on his team's effort on Friday. He was proud of the way his team played.
I thought we took it to him pretty good. Couldn't buy a goal down the stretch there, and we had a lot of really good looks. Goes to show that our team's come a long way, and we're playing good hockey. Hopefully we get some help today from Rochester and the Belleville game, but nonetheless, we got Toronto today at 4, and we're gonna go after them and win the game.
You guys have seen Toronto as much as you've seen any team this year. We know their offense is prolific, so what are the big keys to take them out of what they do best? Is it setting the tone physically?
No, I think it's everything. I think it's starting with our puck management. Our work ethic has to be there against these guys. We have to play as much as we can in their zone, and we can't feed their offense with turnovers. They're a type of team where in the past we've been out shooting them 10-3, and they get an odd man rush somehow, and they score. They got guys that can score goals. I'm not sure if their lineup's going to be full tonight. Might be resting a few players for their playoff run. Nonetheless, they still got good players over there.
There are several good players, including the league's second leading scorer, Jeremy Bracco. He is in the lineup today for Toronto as the Monsters try to combine a loss for Belleville, a win here this afternoon, and a trip to the postseason. Our thanks to John Madden for those thoughts. Quickly, our NovaCare Rehab Injury and Scratch Report presented by NovaCare, the official sports rehabilitation provider of the Cleveland Monsters. Scratch today for Cleveland, number 16, Miles Koulis, number 24, Mike Prapavesis, number 38, Nikita Karastalev, number 35, JF Berube, number 57, Paul Bittner, number 45, Keone Texiera, number 90, Nathan Gerby, and number 82, Kevin Stenlund. On now to our keys to today's game. Key 1 for Cleveland, it's Zach Delpy. 32 goals, tied for 4th most in the league. 11 points in 6 games against the Marlies this year, including 7 goals, and he's riding a 9-game road point streak, the longest such active streak in the league. He's been the guiding light offensively for Cleveland all year. They'll look to him again today. Key 2 for the Monsters, Mark Lateste, who has 5 points in his last 5 games. That steady veteran presence. And key 3, a page out of old Oakland Raiders owner Al Davis's book for the Monsters. The motto this afternoon: just win, baby. That's all you can do to try and firm up a playoff spot. This is what it's all about, folks. The final day of the regular season, the Monsters are in the mix. It's not every year every team can say that. So today is a reason to be happy, be proud, and be excited about what's on the table before us at Coca-Cola Coliseum. With the national anthems upcoming, time to take a break. On the other side, the opening face-off and our starting goaltenders as the Monsters and Marlies drop the puck next on Alt 99.1. Coca-Cola Coliseum in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. The Monsters and the Toronto Marlies, top affiliate of the NHL's Toronto Maple Leafs. Who else? The defending Calder Cup champion Marlies. No, they're headed for the postseason. They'll be the 3 seed in the North Division. They will take on the Rochester Americans. That much is for certain in the first round of the Calder Cup playoffs. But Cleveland trying to punch their ticket to the postseason for just the 3rd time in franchise history with a win this afternoon. And depending on what happens in Belleville, where good news, everyone, Rochester leads the Senators 4-2 with under 9 minutes left in the game. If Belleville loses today, a win for Cleveland. If Belleville loses in regulation, even an overtime entry for Cleveland, and they'd be in to the Calder Cup playoffs. Your starting goaltenders as follows. Cleveland going with Brad Thiessen for the 13th straight game, makes its 26th appearance of the year, 11-8-4-2, shutouts at 2.42 goals against, 9.12 save percentage, 22 saves on Friday in that 2-1 home loss to Charlotte. 1-1 in 2 appearances against Toronto, 3-5-2 in 11 road appearances. His opponent, Eamon McAdam, in net for the Marlies, 19th appearance of the year, 9-4-4, a shutout at 2.87 goals against, 8.98 save percentage, 38 saves in a 4-3 overtime loss at Binghamton on the 6th. That's his last appearance. 2-0-2 against Cleveland, 3-2-1 in 6 home appearances for McAdam. The Monsters in their white road uniforms, wine numerals trimmed in gold, white helmets, black pants, white socks, from right to left here in this first period. In blue, the Marlies from left to right. The puck is down at center. We're underway in the first period of this one. And the Monsters control the opening draw with Delpy, Broadhurst, Barash up front, Summerby and Collins on the blue line in front of Brad Thiessen in net to my right. Monsters to the O-zone for the first possession of the hockey game. Puck skips over the head there of Alex Broadhurst back to the Cleveland line. Covering for the defenseman Summerby was Barash. He dumps it in now to the offensive zone for the Monsters. Waiting there on the left half-boards, though, and able to scoop this one forward is Toronto's Hudson Elenick. And it's back inside the Monsters zone for the first time in the game as this one lofted ahead by Zach Delpy, tracked inside the Marley line and played off the end wall there by Joseph Duzak. Lots of names we're not used to seeing for the Marlies in the lineup today. As a long shot goes all the way down the ice there, out of the reach of Timashov, covered up by Brad Thiessen. And our first stoppage of the hockey game comes with 19:09 remaining in a scoreless burst. Talked to John Matt before the game today, and he talked about the ways his team has grown this year.
I think just overall maturity from the guys. You know, the game management, the understanding of what needs to be done and at what time. I thought we got better at bending and not breaking. Found early in the season we were a little bit mentally weak. I think we just got stronger as a team in terms of our mental toughness. You know, it shows every night.
Yeah, it really does, and it has down the stretch here, even when the Monsters have played some of their best hockey of the year in their last 4 games and not gotten a result on this 4-game winless streak. Just over a minute gone in the first period. Back to action here in Toronto. Marlies inside their defensive zone. Duzak dashes across to the far side where it's played ahead by Christians Rubens, and the Monsters take over. Letestu sloughs one in deep behind Eamon McAdam. And the pass up the far side off the kick plate. Here's Justin Scott in the offensive zone for Cleveland. Plays into the far corner where Sonny Milano spins away from a body check attempt there by Rubens. And then the puck fed around the kick plate to the near wall where the Marlies get there first and fling it out to the neutral ice area. Summerby gloves, gathers, and from the left circle regroups now in his own zone with Ryan Collins. 18-18 remaining in the first, no score. Pass ahead through center. Scott pushes into the offensive end. Taken around in the far wall by the Marlies and played out through neutral ice. Again, the Monsters force a turnover. In the center circle, it was Scott. He'll feed Collins. Banks one off the dasher in front of his own bench. Caught up to by the Marlies before it got to the center red. It's stuffed back into the Monsters' end wall. Here's Cole Sherwood behind his own net. Flips one up the right side. Pass Rassinen at the right point for the Marlies. And now Ryan McInnes with a burst of speed. Tries to track it away from Alex Basso. Deep in his offensive zone. Far corner of the Marlies end. Cleveland with a nice pinch from the right point courtesy of Garrett Cockrell. Puck down to the ice here, and it's pulled behind the heels of the skate blades of Vigneault by himself into the corner. As Basso takes it away for Toronto, and the Marlies break out. 17.5 minutes to go in the first. No score. Gagne drops it in from center for the Marlies. Toronto completing a line change. Lots of time for Tommy Cross. He'll hit his own blue line. Dump this one in. Rattles around, far corner to near in the Marlies zone. Past Gallant, out left point. Vigneault fires, and it's wide of McAdam on the left post. Pitching at the right point now for Cleveland in the offensive zone. This one sped away, fed left circle. Carlson with room, fires, and a blocker save made by McAdam. As the rebound into the near corner, Turkov fed Gallant, skipped one through the slot. From the right point, it's off the far wall for a possession by Dylan Simpson of the Monsters. Former Edmonton Oiler prospect beats it along the far wall. Run into there as it's backhanded by Tom Sestito in front of his own net, off the stick of his goaltender McAdam. Near corner of the offensive zone, Cleveland recollects. Head out to the high slot to Carlson from Turcotte. Shot was blocked out. Simpson for a drive. Saved by McAdam. Rebound was loose in the left circle. And the Monsters take over. They've been dominant in terms of possession in the early going. 16.5 minutes left in the first. No score. And now it's Subban for Toronto out of his defensive zone. Beats across right side. It's Moore towards the Monster net. First save of the game for Thiessen on a wrister out of the right circle. It was a stick save. And the rebound controlled by Cleveland. Great pace here to begin with the Monsters. Certainly the more motivated group as you might expect in this final game of the regular season. Puck bounced away from Trey Bradley for the Marlies, and up ice now. Here's Broadhurst into the center circle. Barash fought through contact there, applied by Griffin Molino. Back to the Cleveland line where it's fed by Cross towards Alex Broadhurst. Still chipping deep, but they'll call icing here. Touched up by the Marlies. Close to the center red, but not quite there in the eyes of the officials. Also spoke to John Madden, Monsters head coach, before the game today about who set the tone for his club all year.
Zach Dalby comes to mind. Mark Letestu comes to mind. Tommy Cross comes to mind. I mean, I think everybody has stepped up. You know, Brett Gallant has stepped up for us. You know, guys that weren't in the lineup maybe at the beginning of the year, like a Danny DeSalvo, he stepped up. Just think overall it's been a team, you know, movement we've made and changed the culture a little bit.
Well, it's certainly hard to identify just a few names. Everybody has done their part to get the Monsters into this position on the last day of the regular season, and it's been a lot of fun to watch unfold. Our thanks to Coach Matt for taking the time prior to this 76th game of 76 in the regular campaign. Monsters want to draw in their own zone after the icing, dump it into the offensive end, back to live action with 15:25 to go in the first and no score. The right side of the defensive zone, played to center. Here's Dmytro Timashov across the line for Toronto. Swallowed up by Garrett Cockrell there. The Monsters recover. Beats the near circle. It's Tommy Cross. Long pass ahead. Letestu able to touch this one in deep. And after it near corner, it's Sonny Milano for Cleveland in the Marley zone. Crunching into the near wall was DeSalvo, who lost his footing. Out to center for Conrad and the Marlies, and he'll just feed it to the Cleveland end wall. Timashov provides the forecheck, but Simpson swats it off the back end for Cleveland. Forward to Carlson, and up ahead with speed at Sherwood. Into the left circle on the backhand. Pulls to the forehand, but the shot trickled off his capture there and into the far corner. Sherwood recovers now in front and touched by Scott, but McAdam fought it off from point-blank range. And now it's loose for the Marlies to speed back towards the left point of Cleveland. And a great stick by Carlson. Took away a feed intended for Brown at center. So the Monsters dump it in and head for another change. Great action to begin. 14:30 to go in the first period and no score. Turnover here. Oh, and all alone was Ryan McInnes in front of the net. He couldn't stash past the right toe of McAdam as the puck still fought for in the Marley zone. McInnes into the middle there, had Sherwood, but intercepting and feeding one up the right wall was Ryan McGregor for the Marlies. Now Sherwood forced another turnover. McInnes again with speed. Right circle, backhanded, and the save made by McAdam. Rebound tracked here by Justin Scott. Spins and fires. It's wide off the end wall, banked off the outside of the net by Cleveland's McInnes. And the Monsters, dominant here in the early going of this hockey game, have another chance in front as Sherwood blocked a shot and then clipped one on the backhand over the crossbar. Ricochets all the way out to neutral ice. Tracking there is Collins. And it's back inside the Monster zone. A delayed offside called against Toronto. So a free clearance here for Sambino. He'll stalk his way through center, clip it off the far wall, and head after it. Far corner of his offensive end. 13:35 to go in the opening period and no score. Head up right point, waiting there. Towards the front of the net, Cockrell fired it. Gallant couldn't tip it home. Lost his stick, now recovers. The puck out to center. And the Marlies across the line for the first time in what seems like a long time. And they promptly turn it over. Right side of the defensive zone, it's Cockrell. Scaled ahead, Gallant. Left side of center, dumps it in for the Monsters. Almost 7 minutes gone in the first and no score. Shots 5-2 Cleveland. Subban, far corner of the defensive zone for Toronto, found his partner. Scaled up the near wall by Frank Corrado, and the Monsters rifle it back in deep. McAdam out of his net to stop it up behind the Marley goal line. Out towards Clune on the right side of his defensive end. Now the Monsters have it once more. Marley's changing. Room and taken advantage of is that room by Simpson through the left side of center. Surges forward across the line. Barash beats it far corner. Dalby towards the front of the net. And it's out of the reach of Broadhurst. Finds Summerby on the right point. Swivels back. Broadhurst left circle in front. Area feed just through the skates of Dalby. Had a chance to hack it on net. Couldn't locate that puck. And the Marlies dump it back into the Cleveland zone. 12.5 minutes to go in this opening period. No score. Right point, it's Rubens for Toronto, and the Monsters in. He's the near circle, centering pass picked off. Here's Alex Broadhurst. He'll connect with Barash. Barash with a pass forward. Did it get a piece of the stick of Dalpe? No, they say icing. Dalpe says, I clipped it. The linesman disagrees. The face-off back to the Monsters' end. By the way, folks, your officials today is assigned by the American Hockey League. Four-man crew, the referees Olivier Gouin, Dave Lewis, the linesman Bevan Mills, and Kevin Hastings. Quick check of the scoreboard in Belleville tells us that with 4.5 minutes to go in the third period, the Senators trail Rochester 4-2. Remember, the Monsters need just earn one more point than Belleville does today, and that would ensure that they're into the Calder Cup playoffs. Every other playoff spot in the league has been settled except this final spot in the North Division. This puck into the Cleveland bench off the draw will take a timeout. 12:08 left in the first, no score. Do or die time in Toronto for the Monsters. More to come after this on Alt 99.1. Final game of the regular season, packed house in Toronto at Coca-Cola Coliseum, and the Monsters trying with all they've got to sneak into the playoffs. Welcome back to the home of the Marlies, your defending Calder Cup champions. Tony Brown with you. First period, 12:08 left in the opening stanza, no score. Monsters with 5 shots to Toronto's 2. Talked to Zach Dalpe before the game about the support his team's had in Cleveland this year.
I had 3 buddies in from town that haven't been to Cleveland yet, and they were blown away by the support and the fans. And actually, I thought Friday it was really loud, and it was extremely loud. Yeah, it's such an undercover, underrated place to play, and I'm just grateful that I get to play there.
Yeah, you and me both, Zach, not playing for me, calling games, but it's the best place to do it. Cleveland, Ohio, USA. Monsters into the offensive zone after a face-off controlled in their own end. Out left point, big drive, cross, right on, saved by McAdam. And the Toronto goaltender spit it into the right circle. From behind the goal line now, fed up the right side by Rubens. And out through center, here's Dmytro Timashov for the Marlies. Overskated one on the left wing, now into the Monsters zone. Left circle, centered one through. Had a man cutting towards the front of the net out of the reach of Dusak. Back down to the right point, Jeremy Bracco had this one poked away with a great stick from Sonny Milano. But the Monsters can't push to their defensive blue line until a touch by Letestu sends one past Conrad and back into the Marlies' end. Almost halfway through this first period already. 11:20 remaining in the opening frame. No score yet. Monsters left side of their defensive zone have Milano gum up a would-be entry for Bracco. Second leading scorer in the league with 79 points this year for Toronto. Monsters now swivel this one in deep from the left side of center. Sherwood flushes Subban up the left side of his defensive zone. Gagne now for Toronto. Dumps and chases to the far corner of the Monsters' end. Shoveled there by Carlson against the grain on the right side. Simpson cuts back to search for some open ice, finds it, and banks one off the far kick plate to center where Scott tipped it, but off Subban and out of play. That'll stop time with 10:50 to go in the opening period. Hey fans, the Monsters would like to thank University Hospital Sports Medicine, NovaCare, the Vision Development Team, MedSource 1, Team Physician Dr. Scott Singer, Team Dentist Dr. D. Todd Russell, and Team Chiropractor Dr. Bernie Bubanek for being the official medical team of the Cleveland Monsters. Another check of the scoreboard in Belleville, Ontario, where just 2 minutes are left in the game and the Senators remain down by 2 to the Rochester Americans. Should they fail to earn a point, the Monsters would need just 1 in today's game to punch their ticket to Syracuse for the first round of the Calder Cup playoffs. Monsters back into their own zone off this draw at center. Passing it from the right point, shot one, took a crazy bounce off a leg. Puck was played with a high stick by Toronto on a tip attempt. And then Gagne, the next to make contact, so that'll stop time and bring a face-off outside of the Cleveland zone with 10:26 left in the first period. Fans, I want to remind you, send me a question while you can. at Tony Brown PXP. Use that Ask the Booth hashtag. In our second intermission today, we'll answer one lucky winner. And if that's you, you'll win 2 free tickets to a future Monsters game with our Twitter Ask the Booth question of the night. Make sure that you get those submissions in early. The early bird usually gets the free tickets. Monsters scoreless here halfway through period 1. Working in white from right to left. And in blue from left to right, it's the Marlies of Toronto. Marlies dumped in from the neutral zone. Tom Sestito, veteran bruiser, sent it down deep. Now it's touched back along the far wall, and Sestito sends it into the corner for Rich Clune, one of the most compelling stories in all of hockey. Shot from the right wall, right on for Thiessen. Bounced away from Sestito behind the net. Now fed back to the left point. D-to-D, it's Duzak on the right side on his forehand for Toronto. On the right wall into the Monsters zone. Feeds it into the corner, and now a tough luck penalty taken here by Summerby. Monsters touch. And a power play coming for Toronto. Tripping as Sestito stepped on the stick of Summerby. And so the Monsters head to the penalty kill when we return. 9:45 left in the first. No score in Toronto. More after this on your home for Monsters hockey. It's Alt 99.1. Welcome back to a raucous Coca-Cola Coliseum in Toronto, where the Monsters, in the 76th game of their 76-game regular season, are scoreless here midway through the first period against the Marlies. Tony Brown with you on Alt 99.1. High drama on the last day of the year. We'll try to get you an update from Belleville whenever that game goes final. Under a minute to play, Senators still need 2 goals to tie Rochester. So that's good news for Cleveland fans. Monsters to the penalty kill now, though, for the first time in the game. That's bad news. Tripping to Summerby. Draw left side of the D zone. The Monsters a quick clearance. Monsters on the PK this year, top 10 league-wide, 7th in the AHL, 83.5%. 6th on the road, and now a chance in front, shorthanded. It's Delpy, fired it after a turnover. Forced by Scott below the goal line, but McAdam was there to make the save. Wake up, Toronto Marlies power players. Is this one for Duzak across the Cleveland line. Monsters clear again. To finish the thought, 6th on the road in the AHL this year on the PK are the Monsters, and they're 13 for 14, 92.9% in this building this year. Meanwhile, the power play for Toronto, 4th best in the league overall, but 23rd in the league at home, 22.2% all told with the extra man this season. This is their first try. 9 minutes left in the opening period, no score. Left side of the defensive zone. Monsters hack one up. Now it's a shorthanded 2-on-1. Broadhurst on the left wing. Beats the middle. Letestu on his forehand. Beats it back to Broadhurst. It's through his skates. The defenseman was able to get a stick on it there. It was Joseph Duzak. And so a chance, well, down a skater here for Cleveland. Goes awry. These are good indicators. 51 seconds left in the Cleveland kill. Across the line. Cross into the middle. Touched by Barrage. Save McAdam. Makes a secondary stop. 2. Sprawling to make a glove denial in the blue paint there and get the whistle. Ozone faceoff coming up for the shorthanded Monsters. And folks, it's final in Belleville. The Rochester Americans defeat the Belleville Senators 4-2 in regulation, meaning that the Monsters, if they can earn 1 point in this game, if they can force overtime or win the game, they're going to the playoffs. So now the mission is clear for Cleveland. And in a scoreless game in the first period, I wonder if that knowledge has reached the Monsters bench or if they even want it to right now. 40 seconds left on this Doyle Summerby penalty kill. Marlies going to draw in their own zone in blue. They're left to right in this first period. Across the line, swallowed up there was the puck carrier by Dylan Simpson. Up ahead, Vigneault across the offensive blue line for Cleveland. Beats it back to Simpson. Simpson to Carlson. He'll retreat back into his own zone, kill the maximum amount of moments before he sweeps this 200 feet down ice. And he has done so now as Summerby back to his skates in the Cleveland box. 10 seconds left in the Monsters' kill. No score in the game, under 8 minutes to go in the first period. Rifling from behind the net. This sent by Dan DeSalvo up the right wall. Eno into the middle. DeSalvo had it poked away from him. Swept up to the right side of the neutral zone. DeSalvo back for Collins. Almost passed it right to Summerby, who's out of the box now. And over for a change in the Monsters bench. Cleveland 1 for 1 on the kill, back to full and even strength at 5-on-5. 7.5 minutes left in the first, and now we've got a penalty at center. It's hooking, and it's against the Marlies. And so Cleveland, after killing a penalty, is going to have their first trip to the power play. At a great time to grab a lead here. 7:30 to go in the first. The faceoff will come inside the Marlies zone as Griffin Molino is guilty at 12:30 of the opening stanza. Shots 9-2 for the Monsters here. They'll head into the offensive zone. First power play unit out there. Cross will quarterback with Milano. Broadhurst, Letestu on the wings, and at center it's Zach Delpy on the draw. Swipes early. False start, he's kicked out. He strides Letestu. What a luxury to have your two top face-off men on the same power play unit. He wins it back clean to Cross at the center point. Cross's shot. That one blocked right back to him. Now Milano off the left wall to Cross. Cross, right point, winding. Delpy fires. Broke his stick on the shot. And he'll sprint to the bench for a replacement now as this one's fed back to the right point for Cross. Delpy with a new twig. Into the offensive zone as Cross beats top of the right circle. Letestu fanned on a pass, worked out for him as it's back to the slot. High slot for Cross, top of the left circle, Milano back cross, one-timer tipped on its way, it's fought off by McAdam and he gloves it and hangs on with no rebound. That's a tester of a shot there, and the deflection giving the goaltender an opportunity to showcase his ability to focus in traffic, and McAdam does that. It'll be another offensive zone face-off with 90 seconds left in the power play. Monsters on the power play this year, 24th in the league, 17.2% on the kill, 14th in the league for Toronto this year, 81%. Monsters in the season series, 3 for 26 on the power play, 11.5%. This is their first opportunity. 6:59 left in the opening period and scoreless here off the draw. Toronto's McAdam had to make sure he was aware of his surroundings there as the netminder got in the way. Eventually it was cleared down by the Marlies. Monsters break out of their own end with 1:12 to go in their first power play, looking to break a scoreless deadlock. Broadhurst in the near corner for Milano in the offensive zone. Then around the end boards. Letestu tipped it back on the right wall. Retreating there, it's Delpy, beats the center point, it's Cross. Left-handed shooting Milano on his forehand. Into the left circle, his pass intended for Cross. Off a skate into the corner. Backhands it up the kick plate for Cross in the left point. Right side Delpy in the slot. Letestu gathers, finds Milano, waits to the backhand, lifts one. And it's over the crossbar into the far corner. And now the faceoff will come outside of the defensive zone with a whistle there. I believe the puck was played with a high stick by Cleveland, as Milano tried to reel in the rebound. 43 seconds left here. Great passing, great playmaking on display there in this power play. Still looking for that first goal. Milano had all kinds of time to walk in from the base of the left circle there. McAdam tested him by pushing to the edge of the crease. Got his stick, the paddle of his goal stick, on that attempt. Monsters now at the second power play unit on for the final 36 seconds of this man-up try. No score in the game, 6 minutes left in the first. Neutral zone draw controlled by Cleveland. They're into the offensive zone. Scott for Barash, fired one off the outside of the net from a sharp angle. Now it's off the far boards to the right point. Cockrell, one a race, ladled one across the zone. Sherwood taps back to Scott on the left point, back to Sherwood along the wall. Walks it up to the near half boards and cycles down low for DeSalvo. His pass touched from Scott to Sherwood on the left point. Saucers one center blue, kicked back, was a puck on edge by Cockrell. Smart play. The Monsters maintain possession. Cockrell high slot, Sherwood top of the left circle, fires, left pad, save from McAdam, back to Sherwood, shoots it again, another save, McAdam, and the rebound stopped on the left post as well. And it's fed out to center now, where out of the box comes Molino. He's one-on-one as the Marlies kill the penalty. They're 1 for 1 in that capacity. Sam Vino off the bench after a change. Chopped the puck off the stick of the would-be recipient to the pass by Molino. The Monsters now break out. Both teams 0 for 1 with the extra man, 1 for 1 on the kill. No score, 5 minutes left in the first. Into the O-zone now, down below the goal line. It is McInnes out to the right point for Cleveland's Dylan Simpson. Simpson had it poked away from him. Taken for a skate just over the line by Eric Brown. And he's able to bail it deep into the Monsters zone, where Carlson collides there, and it's fed to Brown, far corner of the Cleveland end. Marlies forward, can't knife it away from the skates of Simpson, and Cleveland perseveres and prevails in that puck battle as Turcotte connects with Vigneault. He's into the offensive end. Left circle, centered in front, and intercepted was that pass attempt by Toronto's Gabriel Gagne. Back to the O-zone. Here come the Marlies down the left wall. Collins with a good shoulder-to-shoulder hit there on Ryan Moore. Back around to the right point. Corrado retreats. Feeds it to the center blue. Loading and firing was Bracco, and that one blocked away before it got through to Thiessen. Into the end wall, the Monsters zone. Rugged work being done there by Ryan Collins deep in the trench. And he will send it up the far boards and out to center off the stick of his defensive partner, Summerby. 4:05 to go in the first and no score. Shots 13-2 for Cleveland, but nothing to show for it quite yet. Center circle, it's Broadhurst. Spins back, sensing that an offside was at hand. It was, and now it's crossed to pivot through the left side of the neutral zone. They'll fire in. Off the near corner dasher, careens to the far side. Played by Subban against the grain. Recovered by Dalpe for Cleveland. Spinning and firing. That shot took a turn on its way to McAdam. Ends up in the far corner. They're unable to control it. Was Derek Barash. Back below the goal line. Subban chased by Dalpe. Up the near side, it's Corrado. Dribbles one out to center. Puck on edge. Cross. Steps into the offensive end. Off the stick of Dalpe. Right wing entry. Base of the far circle. Fired and rippled the nylon, but outside the left post as he put the shot off the outside of the Toronto Caves. 3:20 to go in the first period. Marlies into the offensive end now. The dangerous Bracco with a drop feed that DeSalvo sniffed out and took away. No scoop forward for Cleveland. Offhand left wing entry for DeSalvo. Gets the corner, cuts the front of the net, fires. Might have gotten a piece of the goal post, but McAdam there to close off on it in the blue paint. And that'll send us with 3:06 left in the period to an O-zone draw after these messages and more presently to a media timeout. No score in the game. Monsters out shooting the Marlies 14-2, but it's 0-0 late in the first on Alt 99.1. .306 left in period number one. No scores. The Monsters in Toronto Marlies battle on the final day of the regular season. And Cleveland, with even 1 point, would move into the Calder Cup Playoffs, where they would, if they can earn that point, face the Syracuse Crunch, champions in the North Division, in a North Division best-of-5 game semifinal series. It's a mouthful. That's what is on the table, but Cleveland must earn it. And we're scoreless with 3:06 left in the opening frame. Face off left side of the offensive zone for the Monsters. One back left point, fired by Sherwood, loose in front, towards the net, and diving McAdam, able to feed it back into the slot where it careens in his direction, and it is covered as Gallant was pushing on that far post. McAdam has been the player of the game for either team so far. Another sequence of electrifying stops. Another offensive zone draw coming up. Monsters just need to stay steady here. The shot's now 15-2 for Cleveland. Zero frustration in the game. There is nothing but determination, as is appropriate given the stakes. 2:57 to go in the first, no score. Right side of the O-zone, Dalpe wins it back. Right point, it's Cleveland's Dylan Simpson. Moves it into the far corner. Bouncing down low, Simpson waits and is stapled up by Subban against the wall. Subban continues to kick it free, and eventually it's loose up the ice on a pass attempt from Hudson Elenick. Bounces back down low into the offensive zone. Cleveland's Barash down the right wall, freed it up for Broadhurst. Tried to tuck a return feed to Barash, trickled all the way through off the outside of the cage. and is covered up by McAdam. Spoke with Zach Dalpe before the game today about Cleveland's leadership group, of which he's been a key part this year.
I felt like we've righted the ship at times where it was maybe off course a bit, and I think we set a good example. It starts with Gerbs and then works its way on down to everybody else. We just hope that we can kind of pull the rope in the same direction and everybody wants to join.
Well, they have been so important in not just setting the tone, but holding folks accountable with their leadership by example. And this group has many members. Starts with Nathan Gerbe, as Dalpe said, as this draw. One back right point. Big shot Collins. Saved by McAdam, but it includes Letestu, Dalpe, Cross, so many. Gallant, and the list goes on. Shot went wide of the left post, barely. Recovered on the right point now by Sonny Milano. Darts out and beats one off the near corner to Asher. Down low, it's Summerby from the blue line. Controlling this one into the far corner. Taken away, this is Letestu now. Letestu behind the net. Beats it to Salvo with room. Fires McAdam the save. Rebound loose in the slot to Salvo. Spins and offers again, this time wide to the right. Off the end walls sharply. Picked up below the goal line by Cleveland. Sonny Milano out for Letestu. One-timer. Might have caught McAdam in the mask. Rebound all the way out to the right point. Collins holds the line. Standing on a pass, there was Letestu, but it's touched right back to him. Sends it in deep where DeSalvo collects on the end board. DeSalvo battles with Corrado in the near corner, takes several cross checks, and DeSalvo then feeds it back to Letestu off the far wall. Right point, it's Collins. Pivots to the center blue. Leaves it on the right side for Summerby, but the pass betrayed him slightly and so came to center. A regroup necessary. That'll get the Monsters a chance to change. And now an offside will finish that job as everyone will come off for fresh legs. Just a minute 27 to go in this first period, and still scoreless hockey here in Toronto. Folks, a reminder, stay with us in the first intermission for our NovaCare Rehabilitation first intermission report. We'll have first period stats and highlights, our Labatt Blue first intermission interview with Zach Dalpe, and Discount Drug Mart out-of-town scores. Monsters win and draw it, neutralize, send one in deep, and after it again in the O-zone. Cross controls on the left point for Cleveland. Left-handed shooter floated one towards the net off his stick belonging to Gagne, high into the end netting and out of play. Now 1:14 to go in the first period. Again, the shots on goal in the game. Cleveland with 19. Toronto with 2. And the scoring chances lopsided as well. So Brad Thiessen tries to stay engaged as he's been anything but busy in this opening frame. Back in the Monsters' goal crease. Well away from this left wing O-zone face-off for Cleveland. Controlled momentarily by the Monsters, but now taken by Toronto. Through center, this taken into the offensive zone down the left wing. Pass to the trailer, Gagne sniffed out, then from the left point, Basso sends one in deep as we've got 1 minute to go in the opening period. A frame that is still scoreless. Flipped up towards center ice by McInnes, taken by Vigneault, in onside Turcoff. Puck back to Vigneault in the high slot, couldn't control it. Rassinen, the defenseman for Toronto, beats Basso in the far corner. Up ice, it's Gagne. Right wing entry for the Marlies into the middle. Backhander wide of Thiessen. Pulled to the right of Brad Thiessen's right post into the far corner of the Cleveland zone. The Monsters now a chance at nine-man rush if they hurry here, but they need a change instead. So floated on net by Cross. Spit free by McAdam, the Toronto goaltender, with 20 seconds to go in the scoreless opening period. Up the right side, it's Corrado. Hits his own blue line into the middle, Dmytro Timashov. Back to Corrado now, or Conrad, I beg your pardon. Into the offensive zone, and Bracco backs one out to center. Barash takes one away from him, but able to take away from Barash at the last possible moment there as time expires was Christians Rubens. Monsters across the line offside, but at the horn. And an exciting first period ends now in Toronto with the Monsters knotted at 0-0 against the Toronto Marlies. Shots on goal in the first frame, 20 for Cleveland, just 2 for the Marlies. The Monsters look to pick up right where they left off in the first in the second period with a dominant display of possession and O-zone time. Well, we'll step away now. The NovaCare Rehabilitation first intermission report is next. First period stats, no highlights, but stats for sure. Our Labatt Blue first intermission interview, a nice chat with Zach Dalpe on this final day of the regular season. Also, Discount Drug Mart out-of-town scores upcoming. The most important out-of-town score is final in Belleville. Rochester beats the Senators 4-2, so Cleveland, with just a point in today's game, would find themselves in the Calder Cup Playoffs for the third time in franchise history. Right now, though, 0-0. A 60-minute game down to a 40-minute game. We'll come back with our NovaCare Rehab first intermission report after. back to Coca-Cola Coliseum in Toronto, everyone. It's the final day of the regular season, and guess what? There's one spot left up for grabs in the Calder Cup Playoffs, and the Monsters, by earning as few as 1 point in today's game, would earn it. Through one period today, though, it's scoreless in Toronto between the Monsters and Marlies in round 8 of 8 of what has been a bitter and fierce 8-game season series. The NovaCare Rehabilitation first intermission report upon us here, presented by NovaCare, the official sports rehabilitation provider of the Cleveland Monsters. Coming up, a chat with Zach Dalpe for our Labatt Blue first intermission interview. Caught up with the Monsters' leading scorer prior to this final game of the regular season today. Thoughts on a wide variety of topics. We'll have that for you in just a few moments. Also, our Discount Drug Mart out-of-town scoreboard. Right now, though, let's get you the numbers from period 1. It's our first period stats. We play you some highlights. We don't have any, as no goals have been scored in this game. But the Monsters, we can tell you, have put forth a dominant showing in terms of puck possession and shots on net, compiling a total of 20 shots on net in the first period to just 2 for the Marlies, who, keep in mind, are without numerous key contributors resting today for the Marlies, as they can't improve their playoff position with a win today. Only Jeremy Bracco and Dmytro Timashov are among their leading scorers that are playing. Adam Brooks is out of the lineup today. Chris Mueller out of the lineup. A number of key defensemen also out of the lineup, including Pierre Engvall. He's a forward, but a key contributor. Carconi is out. Greening is out. Josh Juris is out. You get the idea. The Marlies are taking several opportunities here to stay healthy heading into their first-round series, which they know will be against the Rochester Americans in the other North Division semifinal. Specialty teams numbers in the first period. Both teams 0 for 1 on the power play and 1 for 1 on the penalty kill. And in terms of the goaltenders, Brad Thiessen very lightly tested in period 1, but he stopped each of the 2 shots he faced in net for Cleveland. Meanwhile, Eamon McAdam has been the star of this game thus far. 20 first-period saves on 20 first-period monster shots for the Marlies goaltender. That's it for your first-period stats. Fans, a reminder, enroll in the Monsters Hockey Club, the exclusive club for Cleveland Monsters season ticket holders. Year-round memberships include great seats, flexible payment options, team shop discounts, members-only gifts, and exclusive access to player events. For more information on the Monsters Hockey Club, visit clevelandmonsters.com. With that, we're going to just remind you one more time, as we will continue to do throughout the game today, for those either just joining us or for those unaware of the situation. This is the final game of the regular season. Earlier this afternoon, Belleville was defeated by Rochester in regulation at home by a final score of 4-2. That means that Cleveland, just by earning 1 point, would find their way into the Calder Cup playoffs. In other words, the only remaining scenario in which the Monsters don't make the playoffs is if they lose in regulation in today's game. Keep that in mind as we progress throughout the second and on into the third period. Also, a quick note, I'm told we're experiencing some heavy weather back in Northeast Ohio, so everybody stay safe, especially if you're listening to us today on the roads across the Cleveland area. Make sure when the weather gets too hairy, just pull off the road, find a nice dry spot, and enjoy this exciting final game of the regular season on Alt 99.1. With that, we're going to step away again. When we come back here in the NovaCare Rehabilitation First Intermission Report, we have a conversation with the Monsters' top scorer, Zach Dalpe, whose 32 goals this season are the most ever in one single year for a Monsters hockey player. That conversation presented by Labatt Blue, plus Discount Drug Mart out-of-town scores from the AHL and the NHL Stanley Cup Playoffs loom just around the bend, as after 1 period in Toronto, the Monsters and Marlies are scoreless on your home for Monsters hockey. It's Alt 99.1. Welcome back to Toronto, folks. It's the final game of the regular season. The Monsters, with even 1 point in this game, would earn a berth in the Calder Cup Playoffs. It's scoreless through 20 minutes between the Monsters and Marlies, and we're back on the Novacare Rehabilitation First Intermission Report. In a minute, we'll take a look at all the Discount Drug Mart out-of-town scores from both the first round of the NHL Stanley Cup Playoffs and the action across the AHL on this final day of the regular campaign. Also, just want to take a minute to congratulate from my home state, the land of 10,000 lakes, the University of Minnesota Duluth Bulldogs, who yesterday in Buffalo achieved a very rare feat in college hockey, back-to-back national championships for the Bulldogs. 3 straight years in the title game. In the last 2, they've taken that title back to Minnesota. So congratulations to them. It's a great time of year with the college hockey tournament wrapping up, and then all those great elite college players signing with NHL teams, and the Stanley Cup playoffs underway, the Calder Cup playoffs right around the corner. Heck, even the Masters today was thrilling with Tiger Woods claiming his 15th major championship. It's just a great time of year if you're a sports fan, specifically a hockey fan, and so I hope you guys are enjoying it as much as I have been these last few days. Let's now hear from Monsters forward Zach Dalpe. He enjoyed the way his team played against the Charlotte Checkers this weekend, but he didn't like the results. It's our Labatt Blue first intermission interview, and Dalpe told us prior to the game today that when you don't get that result, it's tough to feel too excited about the way that you competed.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of, for lack of better words, sucks that you only get 1 point out of a possible 4. You put 41 shots on a team that is pretty tight defensively on Friday there, and you're proud, but you're also kind of sour about it. It doesn't show up on the score sheet, but I thought we did a lot of good things away from the puck, and like you said, against a really good team. So yeah, it's a little bit bittersweet, or bitter taste in my mouth for sure.
Was one last chance in the regular season on home ice, though, to play in front of those fans and in that environment. You've played in a lot of buildings in the American Hockey League. I mean, it's a special thing, and it's something that I don't think you guys take for granted. Is it that environment?
Yeah, I mean, I had 3 buddies in from town that haven't been to Cleveland yet, and they were blown away by the support and the fans. And actually, I thought Friday, and I know you said it on the radio, my wife said that it was really loud, and it was extremely loud. So yeah, it's such an undercover, underrated place to play, and I'm just grateful that I get to play there.
Well, you guys, you said it just before we started this. This is a massively important game. I mean, you look at it as a must-win game for you guys to get into the postseason here. You've seen Toronto as much as you've seen any team this year. How do you take them off of what they do best? Obviously, a high-flying offense, but is it setting the tone physically, or what are the things that are most important for you guys?
I mean, it's such a cliche, but we've been playing such good hockey lately, and there's no really rhyme or reason to stop. I mean, like, this is the most important game of the year. It happens to be game 76, and we're ready to play. So you just kind of have to go out there and be an autopilot and do what you've done the last month and a half to get us to this position, and hopefully we can string it together here.
This team's had a great leadership group all year. You're a part of it. Mark Letestu, Brad Thiessen, Tommy Cross, list goes on. Just how important have these veteran leaders, yourself included, been to steer the ship this year? And let's throw Nathan Gerby in there too and not forget him.
Yeah, I felt like we've righted the ship at times where it was maybe off course a bit, and I know that we've been key guys in the games, and I think we set a good example. It starts with Gerbs and then works its way on down to everybody else. You even got guys like Justin Scott and Alex Broadhurst that are good pros, so we just hope that we can kind of pull the rope in the same direction, and everybody wants to join.
And then finally, you guys have grown a lot over the season. There have been some lows, there have been some great highs. What do you think is the biggest area of growth or areas of growth for your team collectively from the start of the season till this last game of the regular season?
Defensively, I think we've cleaned it up a lot. You look at Collins and Doyle Summerby, the last month and a half has probably been the best hockey I've seen them play. We've had great goaltending with Berube, and then obviously Thies steps up and kind of carries us to where we are today. And then collectively as forwards, we've had, I think as a 5-man unit, we've just gotten better. I don't know where it started, but it's been going well.
Well, big one today. It should be fun. Hopefully you guys can find yourself playing some more games after this afternoon. Thanks for this and all the time all season. Best of luck tonight.
Thanks, Tony. I really appreciate it.
Well, we really appreciate Zach Dalpe and all the time he spent chatting with us throughout the regular campaign. The Monsters hope it's not the finish line for the season altogether. It is the finish line for the regular season, so it's a time for reflection and some interesting analysis there from Dalpe on both himself and his teammates and the way that the Monsters have competed throughout the campaign. After one period, it's 0-0 here in Toronto at Coca-Cola Coliseum. The Marlies and Monsters battle on in the middle stanza next. Between now and then, our Discount Drug Mart out-of-town scoreboard. We'll have that after these messages on your home for the Monsters. You're listening to Alt 99.1. Welcome back to Coca-Cola Coliseum in Toronto, Ontario, where the Monsters and the Toronto Marlies are scoreless through one period of play on this final day of the 2018-19 AHL regular season. Tony Brown back with you on Alt 99.1. We're moments away from the start of period 2. So let's get you set, why don't we, with our Discount Drug Mart out-of-town scoreboard. It's presented by Discount Drug Mart, the store that saves you the runaround. This game here is the last game that will determine a Calder Cup playoff position. All of the other spots in the playoffs have been decided, except the fourth and final playoff spot in the North, and the Monsters, with even 1 point in today's game, would clinch that. Here's the rest of the scores from across the AHL today. Springfield over Providence 5-1 right now in Rhode Island early in the third period. Providence has already clinched, so neither team has anything to gain there. Wilkes-Barre and Binghamton in Wilkes-Barre-Scranton. It's 3-1 Penguins after 2. Later today, Manitoba visits Chicago. Hartford visits Hershey. The Utica Comets host the North Division champion Syracuse. Milwaukee is in Rockford. Stockton hosts Bakersfield. And the one final from this afternoon, so important to the Monsters' hopes, Belleville defeated in regulation at home by Rochester by a final score of 4-2. In the National Hockey League, huge Game 3 for the Jackets. Playoff hockey returns to Nationwide Arena at 7 p.m. tonight. Jackets with a 2-0 series lead on the Tampa Bay Lightning. A chance to take a stranglehold on that series with a win this evening for the Blue Jackets. Again, the puck drops at 7 in that one. Blues host the Jets in Game 3 of that series in St. Louis. St. Louis went into Winnipeg and won 2 games. They've got a 2-0 series lead. Series tied at a game apiece for the Vegas Golden Knights, who return home to the Vegas Strip at 10 p.m. tonight. They'll take on San Jose in Game 3. And a huge win for the New York Islanders in Pittsburgh today by a final of 4-1. The Isles lead the Penguins 3-0 in that series. I'm not sure how many folks anticipated that. I, for one, thought that might have a chance to go 6-7 games. Maybe it still does. That's the beauty of playoff hockey. That's it for your Discount Drug Mart out-of-town scoreboard, presented by Discount Drug Mart, the store that saves you the runaround. Monsters in their white uniforms from left to right in this second period, and in blue from right to left, it's the Toronto Marlies. Monsters and Marlies scoreless after 1. Dalby, Barash, and Alex Broadhurst with Collins and Summerby in front of Thiessen from left to right to begin. The puck down at center. We're underway in the second period of this one. The chance off the draw from the left point. Summerby sent it wide into the near corner, where it's picked up after a feed from Collins at the right point by Broadhurst. D-to-D, Collins to Summerby, left side, tipped on its way, they score! Zach Delpy has his 33rd goal of the season. Monsters grab a 1-0 lead, and just 20 seconds into the middle frame, Cleveland is in front. They draw first blood. That's a great start to this period. 20 shots on net in the first and nothing to show for it offensively. And now a tip for Dalpy. McAdam slid to his right and was unable to recover as the shot from Summerby provides Doyle with the primary assist. Secondary assist to Ryan Collins. And a 1-0 lead. 33rd goal of the year for Zach Dalpy to lead the team. One off the league lead in this final day of the regular season. Back to action after the goal at 20 seconds of the first period. 55th point of the year for Dalpy in his 55th game, ensuring a point-per-game pace this season for the Monsters' leading scorer. Still after the ensuing draw, the Monsters thirsty for more offense. A shot from the left side for McInnes into the shin pads there of Jeremy Bracco, and loose to the far corner. Taking that one away from Conrad was Cleveland's Justin Scott. And the puck back out left point. That shot from Cross trickled just wide to the left of McAdam. Timashov for Toronto patrols the left side of his defensive zone. Sends one out to center now. Timashov lost control but recovers. And neutralized, then coughs it up of his own volition. There, unforced error. The salvo across the line. He was hit hard. Milano picked it up. He took a body check in the open ice from Conrad. Cockrell recovers for Cleveland and plays back inside the Monster blue line for Nick that Simpson. Up ice Milano, drop pass, top of the right circle on his forehand to Salvo. Slams on the brakes in the near corner. Lost his footing there, and it's backhanded by Rubens to neutralize for the Marlies. Brown into the middle, intended for Gagne. Slapped off the far dasher, and Milano on his own blue line. Now tucks back. It's Mark Letestu turned over. Breakaway for Brown of Toronto. Fires and Thiessen the save. Oh, it's been a while since he faced a puck in this game, but a pad stop for Thiessen on the breakaway for Brown. And the Monsters preserve their 1-0 lead. They earned less than a minute ago when 20 seconds into the second period, Dalpy struck on the deflection. Back into the offensive zone. Monsters behind the goal line and behind the Toronto net, couldn't maintain possession. Out to neutral ice, tight gap there for Vigneault, covering for a defenseman caught forward. And dropped in by the Marlies, recovered by Collins. He'll slither out from behind his own net. Through the left side of center for the Monster defenseman, Collins steps across the offensive blue line, chips and chases, and Collins gets there first on the forecheck. Hit Basso, puck out left point at Summerby. D-to-D right side, it's Vigneault covering for Collins, back to Summerby at the center point. Long wrister, kicked off the body of Basso for the Marlies. And here comes Brown out to center ice again for Toronto. He'll dump it in. Near corner to far in the Cleveland zone, off the end wall. We're just under 3 minutes into the second period. The Monsters have claimed a 1-0 lead with Zach Dalpe at long last breaking the ice with the Monsters' 21st shot on net of the game, resulting in their first goal of the game. Summerby and Collins the assists at 20 seconds. Dalpe's team leading 33rd at even strength. Right side of the defensive zone. Cockrell lofts ahead. Here's a chance. Right circle. Derek Barras tried to feed it back to Dalpe, the trailer, but Subban took that away from him. And there's an errant stick behind the Toronto net as the Marlies are through center. Rubens across the line on the right wing. Drops it in deep. Monsters Cockrell hacks it around the near boards in his own zone. Barras chipped it out to center. Dalpe fell down to the ice after contact with Molino. Now it's labeled back to the Cleveland blue line. Cockrell spins on the right side. Molino touches it inside the Cleveland defensive zone. Cross deflects ahead. Dalpe on the hunt here as it goes all the way down. It's icing, touched up by the Marlies. That stops the clock with 16:26 to go in this second period. Now the Monsters waited and waited to draw that first goal, and then did with Dalpe's tally 20 seconds in. Let's pause 10 seconds for station ID now on the Monsters Hockey Network. Back inside the defensive zone, Monsters control a draw. Cleveland up 1-0 on a Zach Dalpe goal. 20 seconds into this second period, a deflection of a Summerby point shot. Collins, the secondary assist. 4 minutes deep in the middle frame. Monsters trying to extend the lead, out shooting the Marlies 21-3. Rocco up the left side of his own zone. Forward it bounces now, skipping towards the Monsters net, losing control in the skates of Cockrell. There was the Marlies' Joseph Duzak. And it's loose in the Cleveland end boards, around for Simpson, flexes up the right side to center, waiting for it is Sherwood, helps it along further. Bounces in behind the Marley cage. Stopping on a dime there behind the net. This one walked into the right circle for Joseph Duzak. Leaves it for Bracco, second leading scorer in all of the American Hockey League this year. Bracco for the Marlies, left it to Basso as defenseman, gets the return feed. Right wing entry. Bracco tries to center one through, bounces through the Cleveland slot, but first to retrieve is the Monsters' Ryan McInnes. Back now, though, for a cross-zone feed. Right circle, tossed in front towards Trey Bradley, and the pass off the mark there from Griffin Molino. Monsters again scoop to center. Need to keep that intensity going here as Basso flicks to the center circle. Molino across the line, stalks to the right circle now. And the puck touched away from him, he recovers, and a good stick there for Sherwood. He's hauled down. Could have been hooking there, not this time. Sherwood still tangled with Molino as Toronto had possession near corner of the Cleveland zone. Monsters now stuff up towards the right point, and a penalty's coming here. We'll see exactly who's guilty. Down on the ice was Scott. An elbowing call is going against Molino, and the Marlies and the Monsters up 1-0 are going to have their second power play of the game. They're 0 for 1. Well, that's a good penalty drawn by Scott with some good old-fashioned hard work. Molino takes a seat. For the second time in the game, he puts his team down a skater. It was hooking back in the first period. Now an elbow against Molino. The Monsters look to make it 1 for 2 on the power play and extend a 1-0 advantage. Monsters in white from left to right here in the second period. Just a point needed in this game to clinch a playoff spot. Toronto in blue from right to left for the uninitiated or those just joining us. 5 minutes gone in the second period. Ozone draw for Cleveland, unable to be won. Skipped the length of the ice by Toronto. Behind his own net, it's the Monsters goaltender Brad Thiessen. He's faced only 3 shots in the game. One of those was a breakaway, though, that would have tied things at 1. He denied that, too. Here's Milano, like a dart through center into the offensive zone, left side. Broadhurst, saucers back, center point Dalpe. On the right wall, Letestu, back to Dalpe. Will feed the center point man, it's Cross. Top of the left circle, Milano. Slides it back to Cross. Cross on his forehand, finds Dalpe in the high slot. Waits, drags, fires, and the save made by McAdam. Rebound into the far corner where Milano beats the left point man. That's Cross. Back to Milano into the left circle. And into a roadblock. Fed Broadhurst on the left face-off dot. Back along the far wall. It's Milano. Center point cross. Wrister towards the net. Letestu's screen was applied. The puck bounces into the near corner. The Monsters use the kick plate to feed the far wall. Milano below the far face-off dot. Pass out right point. Delpy off his skate. Guides to Cross. He'll drag to the high slot. Back to Delpy in the right circle. Toe drag. Fires and another good stick save for McAdam. Rebound into the far corner with 54 seconds left in the Monster power play. Cleveland up 1-0, trying to extend. Left circle, Milano. Cross the zone. Delpy from the right circle, and that one over the crossbar and out of play. So many chances for Cleveland there. That top power play humming right now. And a break for Toronto with that puck going out. An exhausted complement of penalty killers will now get a chance to rest and be replaced. Monsters make a change with their power play personnel also. 13:37 to go in the middle stanza. Shots 23-3 for Cleveland. Monsters lead 1-0 on a Delpy goal. Barash will take this draw, joined by Scott, DeSalvo, Sherwood, and Cockrell. Elenick kicked out of the draw for Toronto. So Clune steps in. Draw one back by Barash to the right point. Garrett Cockrell. Monsters with 40 seconds left on their second power play. They're 0 for 1. 1-0 Cleveland as a big pile-up ensues. Far corner of the Monsters' offensive zone. Fed back left point, Barash. Flipped off the defender. Now Elenick forces the play down the left wall. On the backhand, Sherwood flipped one up the far boards. Cockrell stays strong on the left point to hold the zone. DeSalvo in front. Back to DeSalvo after it was touched by Sherwood off the goal stick of McAdam. The shot went wide. Behind the net in the offensive zone, Cleveland Scott run off there by Subban. Catching up to it, DeSalvo along the far wall. And the Marlies send it all the way down the ice. Clune was hoping that clearance would turn into a pass. No such luck. Now Barash out of his defensive zone for the Monsters. Tucks back. Penalty is over. Molino back on the ice as Cleveland into the offensive zone. Low shot for Simpson. Scooped into the glove of McAdam. The Marley netminder. He'll hold it with 12:44 left in the second. Monsters grab a 1-0 lead. Who else but Zach Delpy pulls Cleveland in front. We'll have more middle frame action from Toronto next on Alt 99.1. .12:44 to go in the second period. Welcome back to Toronto's Coca-Cola Coliseum, where the Monsters have a 1-0 lead on the Toronto Marlies. Cleveland in search of a point in this game. If they can earn even one, they're into the Calder Cup Playoffs, where they would face the North Division champion Syracuse Crunch in a best-of-5 game North Division semifinal series that would start presumably sometime next week. All of that is an if right now. Cleveland in the lead, trying to keep it that way. Tony Brown back with you on Alt 99.1. Monsters 0 for 2 on the face-off. Toronto back to full and even strength, 2 for 2 on the kill. Cleveland out at center. Had this one drawn onto the stick of Doyle Summerby. Took a strange bounce as he dumped it in, and it went off the kick plate into the netting and out, so a face-off will come back out to center as it was flipped to the Marley zone from neutral ice. 12:32 left in the middle stanza. 24 shots for Cleveland, 3 shots for the Marlies, who are resting a number of key players to Cleveland's delight. A win today for Cleveland, by the way, would make it 5 in 8 games this season against these Marlies, who have been dynamic offensively throughout the year, if not a bit inconsistent. Monsters win the draw at center and dump it in. Behind the net in the offensive zone, Turcoff had it bounce up towards the left point. Summerby fed along the wall for McInnes, then a shot from Turcoff. stubbed on its release there below the left faceoff dot and behind the Toronto net. McKinnis after it for Cleveland on the forecheck, but Dmytro Timashov, shifty winger for Toronto, plays one into the near corner. Rubens, the near side for Conrad, and he will just pitchfork this one out to center. Took a big hit from Turcoff after the fact. Bracco scrapes it in deep for the Marlies. And Wall in the monster zone, fed in front. Summerby had it go to the far corner there and then sped through the slot without incident. Back to the right corner now, slamming on the brakes is Duzak. He'll go out center point. Rubens loads, fires, hit a body along the far post. That was Timashov's. And Cleveland now scraping out of their own zone, not quite. Regrouping feed though from Summerby to Collins. Head up the near wall. This trickles all the way down in behind Eamon McAdam in the Toronto net. Picked up by Timashov. Offers to center for the Marlies. Into the middle, it's Jeremy Bracco. Right wing entry, toe drag, and that one spins wide to the right. In front of Brad Teason. Angled ahead by Derek Barash. Basso reclaims it for the Marlies in front of his own net. Pass off the far wall, tracked by Brown, and he'll turn north now. Straight ahead, left wing carry here is slamming on the brakes is Gagne. The puck deflects in the left circle of the Cleveland zone. Back to Gagne in the slot, waits, right circle. Great defensive play from Alex Broadhurst. Hung with him, blocked not one but two shot attempts. Right point, Basso, his wrist are off the body of Delpy and out of play. And the Monsters are dealing with a bit of a Marley surge here, but blocking shots to great effect. Still holding Toronto to just 3 pucks on net in the game. But the lead is just 1-0 Cleveland, and you know it only takes one puck towards the cage to erase that advantage for the Monsters. Responsible hockey defensively. Face off left side of the defensive zone for Cleveland with 10:52 to go in the middle stanza. Monsters up 1-0. Drawn back right point, big drive, it bounces, and they score. Elenick might have tipped it, but the shot from the right point came courtesy of Emily Rassinen, and the Marlies have tied the game. 9 minutes and 11 seconds of the second period. Rassinen gets the goal. It's his first of the year and just his 5th appearance this season. Unless they say the tip was applied by Elenick, at which point it would be his first goal of the year and his 10th appearance. And the game is tied at 1, an even strength marker, almost halfway through the proceedings today. Back to the drawing board for Cleveland. Face off at center, controlled by the Monsters. They'll send one up the right side. Out of the reach of DeSalvo, goes all the way down into the Marlies zone. Back out right point, Carlson feeds the slot. Milano base the far circle. Carries below the goal line, looks for a passing option, finds one to the left point, cross. Unable to hold the line, but swept one away from Molino, so not an in-stride exit for Toronto. Milano with a good back check there, hit Basso as he was crossing the Monster blue line. Now a long pass to center, DeSalvo down the right wing, fires one on McAdam, went wide to the right, and off the corner dasher, Milano feeds it back into the far corner, DeSalvo back to Milano, in front all alone, Letestu, and he scores! Mark Letestu from just outside the goal crease. Great find by Sonny Milano, and what an answer back for Cleveland. Letestu has the Monsters back in front. It's 2-1. DeSalvo, the secondary, the primary to Sonny Milano. 9:56 of the second period. Mark Letestu continues his point-per-game pace against Toronto this year. Goes upstairs to the glove side from just outside the blue paint. Letestu's 21st of the year and 50th point, and Cleveland back in front, 2-1. And now we hit exactly the halfway mark of the game. Off the ensuing draw, Monsters back into the offensive zone. Bumped around the near corner. Tremendous playmaking from DeSalvo and Milano to set up that goal for Letestu, and a veteran's finish to be sure. Leo zone. Scott off the left wall for Cleveland, fed it through the Marlies end to the near corner. Sherwood collided with Subban. Came out to center. Waiting there was Simpson. He dumps it back in for Cleveland. Delayed offside. Washed out on the Sherwood touch. It neutralized. Waiting behind the net. Defenseman for Toronto sends it up the left wall. That was Frank Corrado. Trickles all the way into the Monsters' end. Gallant is there. Is icing not a factor here? Speeds one around the far kick plate. Picked up by Turcoff. Turcoff spirits one forward and wills it out of his defensive zone with 9:05 to go in the second period. Monsters up 2-1. They surrender a goal that tied the game at 1 apiece, and then Letestu gets it right back seconds later. Gallant from the left side of center, fired it in deep. Behind the net, McAdam, the Toronto goaltender, leaves it there for his defenseman. That was Christian Rubens. Now a chance for Gallant right on the near doorstep. Fed one in front. It's loose in the blue paint. Hacked at by Vigneault. And a great save made by McAdam. He's been the star of the game for the Marlies. Back inside the defensive zone for Cleveland. Hatcheted by Summerby. Centering feet out of the far corner. Ends up on a Rubin stick left side for the Marlies. D-to-D right side. Duzak down from the point. Retreats back. Drags. High slot. Looks it over his options. Beats it to Conrad. Shoots one and a blocker save by Thiessen. Rebound off to the near wall where Timashov recovers for the Marlies. Out to the right point. Duzak again. Weaves his way to the high slot. A right-handed shooter on his offhand now at the left point. Navigates back to Rubens on the right point. Long wrister knocked down in front of Thiessen. And there to settle the puck on edge is Gallant. He stashes forward for Summerby, and he'll tick it into the O zone. Right circle, Summerby fires, he scores! Doyle Summerby joins the rush, rewarded with the Monsters' third goal. 2-goal lead for Cleveland. Gallant found him off the glass, and Summerby clicked it past the right arm of McAdam and in for a 3-1 Monsters lead. Never a bad play to shoot the puck, and right on that right face-off dot, Summerby, who's among the league's defensive leaders in shooting percentage this year, shows why. Right through the right armpit of McAdam and in at exactly 12 minutes of the second. From Gallant, it's Summerby, and the Monsters up 3-1. Ensuing draw sends us back to action. The goal for Summerby is his 8th of the year and 19th point. 2-goal lead for the Monsters, their largest of the game. Off the draw, we're back to action. Behind his own net, it's Dylan Simpson. Up the near side for Barat. Forward it bounces to Alex Broadhurst. Scaled forward now and taken at the base of the left circle by Basso, the defenseman for Toronto. He'll play it back to the Cleveland zone, but Broadhurst helps control a play that's clipped by Barash into a soft spot in the Marlies zone, shy of icing that allows Cleveland to change their forwards. 7:15 to go in the second period. Monsters claimed a 1-0 lead 20 seconds into this middle frame. Gave it up and then scored 2 in a row from Letestu and then Summerby moments ago. 3-1 Cleveland as Letestu sends one to the near corner. DeSalvo gives off. Milano skips around one body, that belonging to Brown, but Brown takes the puck away. Into the Monsters zone, cross over to take one away from Brown, fed across the zone, Molino. Base the far circle, skates it below the goal line in his offensive zone. Backhands it up left point at Subban. On his offhand, fires towards Thiessen, made a blocker save through traffic. Rebound into the near corner. Molino had it go past him. Picks up down low. It's centered in front, chance for Brown. Crowbarred on the backhand, but Thiessen was there, and from a sharp angle, I'm not sure that puck would have wound up on net. Up ahead to Salvo with a soccer move as he heads the puck off the crown of his helmet and back in front of McAdam, who covers. And with that, we'll take a break. 6:25 left in the second period. Monsters 3, Marlies 1. Latest goal to Summerby. More second period action next on the Monsters Hockey Network. .6:25 left in the second period. The Monsters with goals in this middle stanza from Zach Delpy, Mark Letestu, and Doyle Summerby have a 3-1 lead on the Toronto Marlies. Under 7 left in the middle stanza. 1 point needed in this game for the Monsters to earn a playoff spot. Tony Brown back with you on Alt 99.1 and having fun on the final day of the regular season, at least thus far. Off the draw, right side of the O-zone. Cole Sherwood, big ripper, and that one off the glass. And touched into the near corner of the offensive end for Cleveland. Leaned on in the near side was Justin Scott by Elenick. Back to the far side of the Toronto zone. They angle out to the left point. Carlson holds the line. Clips it to the cross corner. Where after it there is Ryan McInnes for the Monsters. He's neutralized by Subban, who leans on him. Puck loose in the slot. Corrado left it for Griffin Molino, and he'll navigate through traffic to center for the Marlies. Molino into the offensive zone. Fed across to Elenick. Right circle. Backhands it to Corrado. Top of the right circle in the Monsters' end. And he'll send it into the corner. After it now with some open ice with which to work. Retrieving is Cleveland's Dylan Simpson. Finds his own blue line up to the center red. Sends this one deep off the end wall. Picked up by Duzak. For Toronto. Finds Richard Clune on his defensive blue line. Had to spin back as the puck betrayed him. Pounded there by Sanvino, but Clune calmly navigates to Moore. Cross zone feed in stride. Duzak, right circle on his forehand. Toe drag, fire save. Thiessen, the rebound, stop two. Clune crashed the net, and Thiessen made a great sequence of stops. First on the shot by Duzak, then on the follow-up from Clune. And the Monsters ice a puck as a result, but Brad Thiessen has faced only 7 shots in the game. 2 of those have been grade A+ scoring chances. One on a breakaway to Brown earlier in the contest, and here to Clune, who was all alone, and Thiessen, after making a blocker stop and surrendering a rebound, made a follow-up save too. Might have been better than the first. Face-off right side of the defensive end. Cleveland protecting a 2-goal lead at 3-1. Off the draw, this puck loose to the right of Thiessen. He'll cover, and we'll have another timeout. 5:03 left in the second. 3-1 Monsters. More from Toronto late in the middle frame next on Alt 99.1. .503 left in period number 2 in Toronto. These are the opportunities you play for all season long. On the final day of the regular season, the Monsters lead the Marlies 3-1 on the road. And if Cleveland so much as earns a point in this game, they've punched their ticket to the Calder Cup Playoffs. Welcome back to Coca-Cola Coliseum, folks. Tony Brown with you on Alt 99.1. And a face-off to the right side of the defensive zone. Monsters control the draw. Delpy pulled it to Dylan Simpson. Cross bounces it ahead. Barash tracks on his offensive blue line, but we've got a puck presumably played with a high stick. I'm not sure why they blew the whistle there. Oh, a high stick in penalty? No. Puck was played with a high stick by Toronto, I suppose, and then they were the next to touch. Face off back into the offensive end for Cleveland. They'll take that. Broadhurst on the right in the slot. Delpy to take the draw on the left wing side of the O-zone for the Monsters. And along the far wall, it's Derek Barash. Delpy jumps early. He'll be escorted out of the face-off circle. Barash will take center point Simpson, left point Tommy Cross. One back, Delpy loaded and fired, but the shot blocked by Basso. And now sent back out to center where Cross dumps in for the Monsters. Barash down the right wall, couldn't control it, but it's held in on the right point by the Monsters' Dylan Simpson. Now Delpy, who started the scoring 20 seconds into the second period for Cleveland after a scoreless first. Sent it off behind the net. Broadhurst feeds it left point cross. Long wrister tipped on its way, and McAdam put his glove on that puck as Zach Delpy had his stick make contact with it just outside the blue paint. McAdam has hung very tough in this game. He's got 26 saves on 29 Monster shots. Clock stops with 4:32 left in the second period. Marlies, meanwhile, 1 goal on 9 shots on net as Brad Thiessen has been stellar at the Monsters end of the ice. What fun it is to be in the mix this time of year in the Monsters, that and then some. Face off left side of the O-zone, one cleanly to Sonny Milano. Walks it below the goal line, fended off there by Duzak. Puck loose to the near corner of the Marlies zone. Good stick by DeSalvo. Stashes back right point. Summerby on his offhand. Floats it towards the net. Tip attempt by Letestu went too high. Offhand wall. DeSalvo picks up far side. Feeds it left point. Carlson. Long wrister right on. Clear line of sight for McAdam, who snares. Carlson thinks of it as an opportunity missed as he had Milano camped out on the near post. Fake the shot, slide the pass to Milano. Either way, it's never a bad play to shoot. Doyle Summerby proved that earlier in the period at 12 minutes when he picked up his big 8th goal of the year from Gallant. 3-1 Cleveland. Another draw, another clean face-off win to Milano. Left point, Carlson hammers it right on. Off the blocker there, McAdam. The rebound into the far corner. Back out to the left point, it's Carlson. Carlson waits, shoots it down the dasher now in behind the net where it's picked up clean by Milano. Feeds it out right point, Letestu. Loads the gun, then thinks better of it and clips one off the corner dasher into the near side for Milano. Shouldered off there as it was taken away and sent the length of the ice by Toronto's McGregor. Foot race for icing, won by Brown of the Marlies, but Carlson caught up to him immediately as we're under 4 minutes to go in this second period of play. Monsters up 3-1. Carlson feeds one below the goal line with it there, Summerby. Saucers one ahead, almost sprung DeSalvo with a breakaway pass, but it's off his stick, covered by the Marley netminder McAdam. With 3:28 left in the second period, another offensive zone draw, the result for Cleveland. The Monsters leading 3-1. Fans, the Monsters and Cavs have teamed up again this season with Tito's Handmade Vodka to support Assists for a Cure. For every assist made by the Cavs and Monsters this year, Tito's will donate $10 to Flashes of Hope. For the second year in a row, they'll have donated nearly $20,000 to help fund a cure for children's cancer. He's off left side of the offensive end for Cleveland. Kicked out of the draw after a false start is Elenick. Scott will now try to pull this away from Griffin Molino. 3:28, as we mentioned, left. Monsters, 3 goals on 31 shots. They pull it back. Sherwood releases. Oh, and the shot blocked by Elenick. He's in agony. Monsters possessed behind the net in their offensive zone. Out to the right point. Collins drops the hammer, and this one off the body of McAdam into the end netting and out of play. The Marley goaltender with another big save, and Elenick will now, on one leg, try to push himself off the ice here. Fans, did you know the Cleveland Hockey Booster Club is a not-for-profit organization that supports various charities? Well, when a Monsters player earns a performance award, the Booster Club is proud to make a donation in the player's name to the city mission. Congrats to recent award winners Brad Thiessen and Zach Delpy. Learn more about a great hockey organization, the Cleveland Hockey Booster Club, at clevelandhockeyboosterclub.org. 3-1 Monsters, 3:17 left in the second. A win or even a point, and the Monsters are in the playoffs on this final day of the regular season. Push down low, this puck into the clutches of Cole Sherwood behind the net in his offensive zone. Wedged around left point. Simpson with it there, fires towards the net, went wide to the right of McAdam. Off the end wall, sent past Collins and back to center. Moore has it with Molino. Offhand right wing entry for the Marley winger, Griffin Molino. Lost control of it at the base of the far circle thanks to Ryan Collins' excellent gap control and poke check. Now forward, it's dropped in by the Monsters' Cole Sherwood. After a line change, Sam Vigneault into a crowd down the left wing of his O-zone. Taken away, it's fed back to Moore with 2:40 remaining in this second period. Back into the Monsters' zone. Cross fell down out of his reach. Trey Bradley now behind the net. Motors around behind the Cleveland cage. Carries to the high slot. Tried to drop it off on the right point, but was poked away. Bradley now spinning again in the center circle. Beats Basso as he'll back into the top of his own zone for the Marlies. Up to Bradley, plays it to McGregor now. McGregor without reinforcements. Strides behind the Monsters net into the far corner of the Cleveland zone. Taken away was that puck by the Monsters' Gabriel Carlson. Up the near wall for Turcoff. And touched back down low. It's loose in the left corner of the defensive zone for Brett Gallant. He'll chip it out to center. Now Turcoff motors into it. Basso between Turcoff and the net. Left circle. Along the ice. Turcoff with a wrister, but McAdam denies. And it's picked up on the rebound along the far boards by Brett Gallant. Out left point for Summerby. Taps it back down in the trench behind the Marley net. Trickles off the capture of Turcoff. Loose in the near corner. A foot race for Turcoff and Clune. Those two go headlong into the dasher board as it's picked up and offered ahead by the Marley defense. And hit hard with Sestito on the Cleveland blue line by Monster defenseman Doyle Summerby. He's got the latest goal in this game. The tally that made it 3-1 Monsters. The score as it stands now with 1:25 remaining in period 2. Left side of the defensive zone. Collins strides ahead for the Monsters after another good entry denied by the Cleveland Blue Line. And wall of the Toronto zone. Barash nearly caught up to McAdam, the Toronto netminder. Up to center, swatted ahead by Dylan Simpson. Back inside the Marlies zone. It'll be fed forward. And eventually onto the stick with Bracco. Leading Marlies scorer. Spins inside his offensive blue line with 1 minute remaining in this second period. Towards the low slot in the Monster zone, Conrad had a centering feed. Neutralized and erased. Now along the far corner dasher in the Cleveland end, it is Carlson stapled up by Conrad. The puck loose to Bracco. He's promptly erased by Simpson, I beg your pardon. Conrad shuttles it right point where Timashov was covering, but it's past him into center. 30 seconds left in the second, 3-1 Monsters. Timashov from the left side of the neutral zone. Dumps it in, near corner to far. Kicked off the skates of Carlson. In behind the net, Simpson. Nailed up the right side. Nudged there by Alex Broadhurst to the center circle. It's Dusak. Dusak from the right side of center. Lost control, couldn't dump it in. Now wheels inside his own line. 12 seconds left in the period. Bracco, nice feed. Timashov left circle. Save made by Thiessen as it was initially blocked by Simpson. Then back in front and Thiessen covers with 5.9 seconds left in period 2. Still 3-1 Monsters, 33-11 the edge in shots for Cleveland, and the ratio of shots to goals for both sides equal. 33-11 in shots, 3-1 in goals, with Cleveland in front in both categories. And Thiessen sharp as ever, despite being less than under duress as of late. Face off right side of the defensive zone. Final draw of the period. Gagne with a ripper off the draw. Saved by Thiessen. The rebound loose, and that's it. Final seconds tick away. The horn sounds, and the second period is over as the Monsters, after a scoreless first, grab control of this hockey game in the middle stanza. 3 goals for Cleveland. Dalpe, Letestu, Summerby, and just 1 for the Marlies as we get set for the third period. 20 minutes between the Monsters and a postseason berth. It would be the third in franchise history, and Cleveland up by a pair after 2. In Toronto, we'll have more after this. Our second intermission report will feature our second period stats and highlights, our Twitter Ask the Booth question of the night, our Marathon Blue Jackets report, and Discount Drug Mart out-of-town scores. Then the final stanza, Monsters 3, Marlies 1 after 2. A point in Cleveland's into the postseason in a good spot for now. We'll see what happens next on Alt 99.1. Broadhurst, D-to-D, Collins to Summerby, left side, tipped on its way, they score! Zach Dalpe has his 33rd third goal of the season. Monsters grab a 1-0 lead, and just 20 seconds into the middle frame, Cleveland is in front. They draw first blood. Oh, and in grand fashion to boot, Zach Delpy draws within a single goal of the league lead in goal scoring this year, with his team leading 33rd of the campaign, 20 seconds into period 2, and the Monsters now, after that first goal started the scoring, have a 3-1 lead after 40 minutes of play. Welcome back to Toronto's Coca-Cola Coliseum. It's the last day of the regular season, and the Monsters are 20 minutes away from qualifying for the Calder Cup Playoffs. Tony Brown back with you. It's an exciting time of year, and it's an exciting time of night, frankly, as we get set for the third period. It's our second intermission report. Coming up, our Twitter Ask the Booth question of the night. Get those last-minute submissions in at Tony Brown PXP on Twitter. Use the Ask the Booth hashtag to be eligible to win. Our Marathon Blue Jackets report is upcoming, as well as the Jackets prepare for a very important Game 3 of their first-round playoff series against the Tampa Bay Lightning tonight at Nationwide Arena. Also, the Discount Drug Mart out-of-town scoreboard is around the bend as well. But let's begin with our second period stats and highlights. You heard Delpy's goal coming out of the break there. That began the scoring after a 0-0 first. Delpy's 33rd from Summerby and Collins at even strength 20 seconds into the second. Then Toronto tied the game at 9-11 of the middle frame as Elnick from Rassinen and Molino at even strength picked up his first in the AHL this year. But Cleveland, just seconds, less than 1 minute later, well, they were able to reclaim the edge. Feeds it back into the far corner. DeSalvo back to Milano, and brought all alone Letestu, and he scores! Mark Letestu from just outside the goal crease. Great find by Sonny Milano, and what an answer back for Cleveland. Letestu has the Monsters back in front. It's 2-1. 21st of the year for Mark Letestu, perched on the edge of the blue paint. DeSalvo and Milano found him to make it happen. An even strength goal at 9:56 of the second. That made it 2-1 Cleveland, and the Monsters not done yet. Gallant, he stashes forward for Summerby, and he'll tick it into the O zone. Right circle, Summerby fires, he scores! Doyle Summerby joins the rush, rewarded with the Monsters' third goal. 2-goal lead for Cleveland. Gallant found him off the glass, and Summerby flicked it past the right arm of McAdam and in for a 3-1 Monsters lead. Summerby's 8th of the year. You didn't think it was a great chance to score, but you put the puck on net. That's what you're always supposed to do, right? And that's what Summerby did. Gallant gets the assist for chipping the puck to him. And at 12 minutes on the button of period 2, that even strength score for Doyle Summerby has the Monsters up by a pair of goals heading into the final stanza. Shots on goal in the first period, 20-2 in favor of Cleveland, dominant in possession in that opening stanza. Then in the second, 13-10, the Monsters with the edge in shots. So it's 33-12, the shot count through 2 periods of play for the Monsters here in Toronto tonight. Cleveland 0 for 2 in the power play in the game. Toronto 2 for 2 in the kill. The Marlies 0 for 1 with the extra man. The Monsters 1 for 1 while down a skater. Brad Thiessen has stopped 11 of the 12 pucks he's seen between the pipes for the Monsters through 40 minutes. And his counterpart, Eamon McAdam, for the Marlies, 30 saves on 33 shots faced to this point in the game. That's it for our second period stats and highlights. Fans, a reminder, enroll in the Monsters Hockey Club, the exclusive club for Cleveland Monsters season ticket holders. Year-round memberships include great seats, flexible payment options, team shop discounts, members-only gifts, and exclusive access to player events. For more information on the Monsters Hockey Club, visit clevelandmonsters.com. Quick break. We'll come back with our Twitter Ask the Booth question of the night, our Marathon Blue Jackets report, and Discount Drug Mart out-of-town scores. All that coming up, along with third period action as the Monsters look to punch their ticket to the playoffs. They're up 3-1 after 2 in Toronto, a point in this game, and that's where Cleveland will head. After this, more on the Monsters Hockey Network. Back in Toronto at Coca-Cola Coliseum, 2 down, 1 to go. Just 20 minutes left in the regular season, and in Game 76 of 76, 1 point in the standings would put Cleveland into the Calder Cup Playoffs. Good news is they're up 3-1 on Toronto after 2. Welcome back to Toronto, Ontario. It's time for our second intermission report to continue now with our Twitter Ask the Booth question of the night. In a moment, our Marathon Blue Jackets report and Discount Drug Mart out-of-town scores. Let's start with that Twitter question. Our winner tonight, despite several great submissions, is Megan Modney at CLE Monsters Meg on Twitter. She uses the Ask the Booth hashtag, very important, and asks, what's my favorite memory, game, or event from the 2018-19 Cleveland Monsters season? It's very difficult in this moment to think back to 76 games and find a remarkable play on the ice. So I'm going to just kind of try to artfully dodge the question by going with my favorite part about the season, and that is playing and broadcasting in the heart of the atmosphere that is Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, especially when there's 10,000 plus in the building, as there have been numerous times throughout the year. One real highlight for me of those huge crowd nights was the Monsters Moon Landing Night, presented by Dominion Energy from earlier in March. I thought that was one of the coolest promotions I've ever seen in my now 8 years calling hockey games in the minors. It's really just being in that environment when it's so loud and deafening and everyone is engaged. It just brings back so many great memories to my first year in Cleveland back in 2015-16, and it really is a special place to do what we do for a living. So my favorite part about the year is sharing it with the fans in-house at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, and there's nothing like it, and there's no way to describe to you how much easier it makes our job of bringing the action to the fans when the fans are helping inspire us along the way. And when I can do that alongside my partner, Jock Callender, that's the absolute best. So that's my little dodge of the question, Megan. If I had more time to think about it, I could come up with some on-the-ice exploits that have been particularly memorable, but that would take reflection, and we simply don't have the time right now. Thanks, though, Megan, for your question. Monsters, will get back to you via Twitter with details on how to redeem your 2 free Ask the Booth tickets. On now to our Marathon Blue Jackets report. It's presented by Marathon, fueling the American spirit. Columbus, as you guys know by now, a 2-0 series lead in their first-round Stanley Cup playoff series against the Tampa Bay Lightning, who, frankly, in the regular season, were the best club in a generation at the National Hockey League level, commanding lead in the series for the Blue Jackets. They look to take another step towards what they're trying to achieve, and that's their first series win in franchise history. Game 3 tonight, just over an hour away from now, 7 p.m. Eastern Time at Nationwide Arena in Columbus. Game 3, we can't wait for that. Game 4 looms on Tuesday in Columbus as well at 7 o'clock. TBD on the game time, but Friday the 19th would be when a prospective Game 5 would occur in Tampa. Then Sunday the 21st, a prospective Game 6 in Columbus, back to Tampa Bay for a potential Game 7 on Tuesday the 23rd. That's what's left in the series. But tonight, in the playoffs, you can never look beyond the next shift, and that next shift occurs just in about an hour from now. Best of luck to the Blue Jackets as they try to take a 3-0 series lead on the Lightning. And if you can't make it to the game, do yourself a favor and tune in to our good buddy Bob McGilligan on the Blue Jackets Radio Network. That's it for our Marathon Blue Jackets report. Time for another quick break here. When we come back on our second intermission report, Discount Drug Mart out-of-town scores. We'll update you on all the action across the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs and across the AHL on this final day of the 2018-19 American Hockey League season. Monsters up 3-1 in Toronto on the Marlies, a point all Cleveland needs to clinch a playoff spot. We'll be back with the third period next on Alt 99.1. Third period has almost arrived here in Toronto, where the Monsters lead the Marlies 3-1 before we drop the puck on that final stanza of the regular season with a playoff berth on the line for the boys from Cleveland, Ohio. Time now to take a look at the action from across hockey's two highest levels with our Discount Drug Mart out-of-town scoreboard. Let's begin in the National Hockey League, where the first round of the Stanley Cup Playoffs continued today. Big win in Game 3 of the Islanders and Penguins first-round series, and in Pittsburgh, it's the New York Islanders, led by Barry Trotz, who led the Capitals all the way to a Stanley Cup title last year. Well, he's got the Islanders up 3-0 on the Penguins. 4-1 the final today in Pittsburgh. It's a statement for the boys from Long Island. Golden Knights and Sharks in Game 3 of their series, tied at 1 game apiece, comes your way from Vegas tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern. Blues and Jets in Game 3 in St. Louis at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. St. Louis went into Winnipeg, a tough place to play, and took 2 games, and with it a 2-0 series lead. But the big one for Monsters fans and Blue Jackets fans looms at Nationwide Arena 1 hour and 10 minutes from right now, and the Blue Jackets look to take a 3-0 series lead on the Tampa Bay Lightning, the best team in the NHL in the regular season, your President's Trophy winners. Best of luck to the Monsters' organizational partners, the Columbus Blue Jackets, tonight. In the AHL, Chicago Wolves, after 1 period at home, trailed the Manitoba Moose 2-1. Hartford and Hershey tied in Chocolatetown, 1 apiece after 20 minutes. Syracuse is up 1-0 in Utica, on Utica, late in the opening frame at 6 p.m. Central. So any minute now, the Rockford Ice Hogs will host the Milwaukee Admirals. Bakersfield at Stockton later tonight as well. Final scores from earlier: Belleville falls at home to Rochester 4-2. That result ensures that Cleveland, with even 1 point in the standings today, would earn a postseason berth. In Wilkes-Barre-Scranton, the Penguins beat the Binghamton Devils 5-2, and in Providence, the Springfield Thunderbirds cap a season that sees them miss the playoffs by beating a playoff team, the Bruins, 6-1. That's it for your Discount Drug Mart out-of-town scoreboard, presented by Discount Drug Mart, the store that saves you the runaround. Saw something pretty cool on Twitter earlier today. Of course, the Blue Jackets see playoff hockey return to Nationwide Arena. And friend of the broadcast, the great, legendary George Matthews, longtime former voice of the Blue Jackets. I know very close to our producer and engineer, Stacey Knox's heart. And a fabulous guy and a fabulous broadcaster, a legend in the Blue Jackets organization. He's in Columbus today as the playoffs return home. So does George. So I hope he and the rest of Blue Jackets Nation enjoy Game 3 tonight, hoping for a good result against the Tampa Bay Lightning. With that, the players are back out onto the ice, and it's time for the third period. Monsters need earn but a point in this game to punch their ticket to the playoffs, and they're up 3-1 as Cleveland in white uniforms competes from right to left in the third, and in blue from left to right. It's the Toronto Marlies. Zach Delpy with Broadhurst and Barrage. Summerby and Collins in front of Thiessen to my right at center as the puck is down and we're underway. The final frame of the regular season. Monsters with a 3-1 lead. Latest guy to score, Doyle Summerby. He feeds one up the near side of center for Cleveland. And it's back to the top of the circles in the Marlies zone for the Toronto defense. Dusak up to center. Tipped off the stick there of Elenick and back into the Monsters zone, retrieving. Behind the net of Brad Thiessen was Collins. Pushed up to the near half boards. Lofted across the zone to the left point. Spinning this one towards the net. Blocked, and then Elenick with a follow-up try fluttered off his blade into the far corner harmlessly, where he will recollect. Christian Rubens watches from the left point as a 4-man scrum turns into a shuffleboard attempt by Summerby to push the puck towards his own blue line. He can't get it there, but Zach Dalpe can. Clips it ahead, and Conrad inside the Toronto zone plays one forward. 1 minute gone in the third period, 19 minutes left in the regular season. Monsters need just 1 point, but sure would like to end the regular season with a win. Timashau out towards the right point, backhands one in deep. Conrad behind the net, poked away from him by Dylan Simpson. Simpson up the near wall for the Monsters. It tacks to center, and Jeremy Bracco for the Marlies, their top scorer, will recover and feed Corrado. Defenseman played it to the Monster line. Simpson tossed it right back out to center. 90 seconds gone in the third. Shots 33-12 for the Monsters. The score 3-1 Cleveland. Here's Jordan Subban through center. Oh, hit hard by Milano there. Subban saw Letestu trying to take the puck away. Didn't see Milano on his heels. Deliver a nice open ice body check. Monsters scrape one in deep as a result. Eamon McAdam, the goaltender for Toronto, tosses one up the near side of his own zone, and then Corrado fed it back to the left circle of the Marlies end for Subban. Will weave back up along the left wall. Collects on his forehand. Starts it out to center on the stick of Conrad. He's across the line. High slot in the Monster zone. The shot blocked by Tommy Cross and then sort of rolled down his leg into the corner. Gallant intercepts a breakout feed and plays ahead. Gallant chips, chases, crunches in on the end wall, loose in front. McInnes to the back door. They score! Justin Scott into a wide open net, and the Monsters push their lead to its largest point in the game. Scott makes it 4-1 Cleveland. Tremendous find there for Ryan McInnes out of the base of the near circle after Gallant chipped it to that point. It was McInnes who had the presence of mind to pick his head up, and instead of trying to chuck a backhander on the cage of McAdam, he slid it to the far doorstep where Scott was waiting and pushed it with the easiest goal he'll score this year into a wide open net. Time of the goal 2:26 of period 2:16 rather of period 3. And Justin Scott with an even strength marker as his 13th of the year and 24th point. Monsters up 4-1. Off the ensuing draw, Cleveland back to work in search of more offense. Deep in their offensive zone, played by Samvino up towards the left point, and Turcoff had a touch past him with speed. Into the offensive zone, here's McGregor. Slams on a pass to the front of the net where Brown couldn't push it past the right leg of Thiessen. Another great save for Brad there. Pass just off the mark. A shot couldn't come on, but a redirect just as dangerous, and Thiessen's right toe came up with the denial. Up the right side of the D zone now for the Monsters. Here comes Vigneault into the offensive end. Sends it in deep, wholesale change. Top line back out, that's Barash, Broadhurst, and Delpy. Toronto ices the puck all the way down. Summerby wins the race, and the faceoff comes into the offensive zone for Cleveland with 16:50 to go in the third period. Justin Scott extends the Monsters' lead. 13th of the year at 2:15 of the third period. It was 2:16. If we're being precise here, maybe they'll adjust the game sheet. Regardless, the Monsters up. 16:50 to go in the third. Left side of the O-zone, face-off one back to the center point. Carlson sends it in deep. The last thing Cleveland does now, or should do, is take their foot off the gas. They want more and more and more until the horn sounds. Broadhurst into the far corner. Barash cycles it in deep. Here's Delpy sending in front. Great save. McAdam on the left post. Got run into by his own man. That was Moore, but a chance for Broadhurst from just in front of the paint. Now a turnover, and here's Barash in alone. A breakaway to the forehand. He scores! Derek Barash around the left toe of McAdam, and the Monsters up 5-1. 2 goals in the early going in period 3, and Barash the latest as the Monsters with a chokehold in the third on a playoff spot. That puck was forced back from center to Barash. He was all alone, and a great move for the right-handed shooter, the former Mercyhurst Laker captain. Continues his hot hand down the stretch, scoring at 3:40 of period 3. Barash with an even strength breakaway tally. It's his 7th of the year and 11th point. And the Monsters up 5-1. Off the ensuing draw, Cleveland dumps it into the offensive end. Milano hit hard. The end wall in the Toronto zone. Monsters need to keep pushing, showing no signs of letting up. Milano kicks one up the near wall. Smashed out towards the left point, but Summerby had it intercepted before it got to him by Elenick, and he sends it deep into the Monsters' end. Summerby steps from behind the cage up the right side to Salvo. Ticks one on further, bounced off the body of the linesman. Back to the top of the Marlies zone. 15:45 left in regulation. 5-1 Monsters. 2 third-period goals for Scott now Barash. Shot by Elenick from the left circle, saved by Thiessen. Rebound kicked out to Trey Bradley. Spins away from DeSalvo, not once but twice along the far wall in the Monsters zone. Collects in the corner with Elenick, return to Bradley. He's had a hard time settling the puck down today as it popped over his stick. Ends up left point for Timashov, and then Rassinen out to center. Flushed for a play out of the center circle back to Timashov. And now a high stick coming against Sonny Milano. Delayed call against Sonny Milano. He got the high stick up on Timashov. So out of his net is McAdam for the extra skater. Marlies are going to have a power play the next time Cleveland touches the puck. And that'll happen now as Scott makes contact. 15:03 to go in the third period. The Monsters with a 4-goal lead head to the penalty kill for the second time. They are 1 for 1 in that capacity in the game. Another very disciplined effort for Cleveland today. So you start the period with Scott's goal, 2:15 of the third from McInnes at even strength. Then Barash unassisted at 3:40 of the third at even strength, his seventh. And it is 5-1. Again, 1 point is all you need to qualify for the playoffs if you're Cleveland, but 2 points given the score, and you don't need a qualification. 2 points is how you want to end the regular campaign the Monsters seek to achieve here today. So Milano off for high sticking. D-zone face-off for Cleveland. They controlled it, and they clear it down. Change in the power playing forwards. Exit stage right, Dalpe and Scott. Enter stage left, McInnes and Vigneault. They'll join Carlson and Collins. Timashov on the power play breakout for the Marlies. Starts up the left side of his own zone, then spins back. Waits behind the net, puts the puck on a tee. Here's Duszak. Drops it off Bracco, spinorama. Elusive maneuver there on Vigneault. To the offensive end, Timashov hit hard by Collins, went head over heels. Monsters from the end boards clear to center again. Not all the way down, but far enough to change all 4 penalty killers. Pass out to center. Conrad has it for the Marlies. Left wing push. Duszak dumps it in. Far corner to near. Summerby tries to shovel it out of the zone. Held in right point by Bracco. On his offensive, or on his forehand, I should say. Controlled back to Conrad. Across the zone. Left side, it's Timashov. Into the far corner. Angles one off the boards. 50 seconds left in the Marley power play. Bracco right point. Sends one towards the front of the net. Stashed by Sestito off the pad of Thiessen. And then chipped by Barash the length of the ice. Another wholesale change in skaters for the penalty-killing Monsters. Milano with 35 seconds left on his high stick. 13:35 to go in regulation. It's 5-1 for Cleveland with third period goals from Scott and Derek Barash. DeSalvo catches up to the Marley puck carrier. Far side of the Monsters zone. And it's Collins having that one wedged away from him. Back to Basso on the left point for the Marlies as they continue to try and find some sort of offense. Ooh, dangerous clearance there by Carlson, knocked down in front of what was an empty net for Thiessen as he went behind the goal line to try to retrieve that puck, but offside here against the Marlies. And a faceoff will come outside the Cleveland line to center. Fans, one more reminder to enroll in the Monsters Hockey Club, the exclusive club for Cleveland Monsters season ticket holders. Year-round memberships include great seats, flexible payment options, team shop discounts, members-only gifts, and exclusive access to player events. For more information on the Monsters Hockey Club, visit clevelandmonsters.com. Face-off at center, again controlled by the Marlies. 13 minutes left in the third, 7 minutes gone in the final period. Milano out of the box, Monsters to full and even strength. They're 2 for 2 on the kill. 5-1 Cleveland in the game. Trying to secure that third playoff berth in franchise history, and the first since 2016. Not to draw any sort of parallel lines whatsoever, but that is the last time the Monsters made the playoffs. Food for thought. Into the offensive zone, Turcoff. Down the left wall, drops off Milano. Milano in behind the net. Forced off on the end boards. Turcoff into the far corner. Hacked out by Milano. High slot, Sherwood leaves it for Carlson. On net, McAdam fights off that puck about waist high, and the rebound into the clutches of Turcoff momentarily, but cleared by the Marlies to center, and then fired in by Carlson from neutral ice. It crossed up McAdam, who went off the outside of the net. Back out to center for the Marlies with 12 minutes left in the game. Cleveland with a 4-goal lead at 5-1 thanks to goals from Scott and Barash here in period 3. The offensive end. Subban has it for the Marlies. Left side of his defensive zone. Connects with Corrado on the regroup. Flipped by Clune deep in the Monsters zone. Far corner of the Cleveland end. It was against the grain, fed by Carlson to the far half-boards, where it was intercepted. Sent back to the line by Moore. Floated on net by Subban, but wide to the left of Thiessen. In the middle, it's Carlson. Scales ahead, out of the reach of Dalpe. Monsters head for a change. 11:29 left in the third period. Pass out of the reach of Corrado for the Marlies. Moore into the offensive zone. Puck got away from him. Following the play was Trey Bradley. His shot wide right on Thiessen. Out for Moore, whose shot fluttered off his stick. Summerby intercepts up the right side. Right wing forehand entry for DeSalvo. Toe drag and shot it, but it's off the body of Duszak and out of play. 11:10 to go in the third. Monsters up 5-1 on Toronto in Toronto. We'll see what is to come the rest of the way in this one as Cleveland tries with 1 point in the standings to head for the postseason. More to come next from Coca-Cola Coliseum. It's Monsters Hockey on Alt 99.1. Back in Toronto, 11:10 to go in regulation. Monsters lead the Toronto Marlies by a score of 5-1. And Cleveland with only 1 point. That's all they need in the standings to earn a playoff berth on the final day of the regular year. They've got a 4-goal lead, 11 minutes left. They want 2 points. Off this draw to the right side of the offensive zone. Face-off pulled back to Cleveland's Dylan Simpson, whose shot was blocked. And Toronto surges into the Monsters' end. Hit was Elenick, the puck carrier there, by a stepping up Simpson. Now DeSalvo with a great burst of speed. Right wing entry in his own zone. Sharp angle shot. And it's saved by McAdam, the Marley goaltender, and he covers without a rebound. 10:51 to go in the third. 39-14. The shots in favor of Cleveland, 5-1 the score in favor of the Monsters. Well, we all know the Blue Jackets are competing against the Tampa Bay Lightning in the first round of the Stanley Cup Playoffs. If the Monsters get that point in today's game, they're in good position to do so as of this moment. They would face the Lightning's top affiliate, the Syracuse Crunch, in the North Division semifinal, a best-of-5 game first-round series in the Calder Cup Playoffs. Parallel lines. 10:51 left in the third. 5-1 Cleveland, right side O-zone. Scott on the face-off. Penalty coming here. It is against Toronto. Out of his net for the extra man, Brad Thiessen. Left point O-zone. Carlson for Cleveland to the right point. Collins, and back again. It's Carlson on the left point. Walks the line to the center blue, and this pass sniffed out there by Elenick. And the penalty is called. And the Monsters are going to have their third power play of the game. They are 0 for 2. As the offending party is Elenick himself. And the infraction, slashing. 10:38 left in this third period. See if the Monsters use this as an opportunity to continue their work with their standard power play units. It appears that is the strategy from John Madden, the Monsters head coach. Trying to make the playoffs for the first time in his Monsters and AHL head coaching career. Face off right side of the offensive zone. Dalby couldn't win it back. It's cleared into the Monsters' end. Cross. The foot race here has the puck taken away. Marlies trying to wrap one around. Timashov nudged it, but right pad save for Thiessen. In great position as usual. Cross, Milano, Broadhurst, Delpy, Letestu, your top power play unit for Cleveland. Another clearance for the Marlies. Just 10 seconds away from halfway through the third. 10:10 to go in regulation. It's 5-1 for the Monsters. Milano with speed into the O-zone. Delpy ahead of the play, but onside. Drop back, left point cross. Top of the right circle, Letestu loads, fires, head hunting, slapper, and that over the crossbar, off the glass, and out of play. Watch out. Letestu is loading that gun from the top of the right circle. That's his spot. Now a minute 19 seconds left in this penalty to Elenick. Monsters go to their second power play unit. Scott will center it. Barash on the right, DeSalvo in the slot. Left point Sherwood, right point Simpson. Those last two players both on their offhands. Left-handed Justin Scott outdueled on the draw. Sent up but held in on the right point by Simpson. He'll skate it down the wall, tries to settle a puck on edge. Does so successfully. Back into his spot on the right point in his offhand. And feeds along the far half towards DeSalvo. Slides it back to Barash to the center blue Simpson. Near circle, Sherwood a one-timer and a glove save made by McAdam there. Sherwood licking his chops as that pass came in his direction. And offered on in one fell swoop, but McAdam has answered the call. And as he reclines back on his crossbar, it's been a busy game for him. He's been the best player on the ice for the Marlies. He's given up 5 goals on now 40 shots faced. Monsters this season have a single-game season high in shots on goal of 42, so they're closing in on doing something in the final game of the regular season that they haven't done all year. Face-off again controlled by Cleveland with 51 seconds left in the power play. Brett Gallant gets a power play shift here. His shot blocked out of the left circle. Griffin Molino the other way into the offensive zone for the Marlies. Swept away though. And Cleveland back into the offensive end. Gallant has this puck sort of follow him into the slot in his skates. Never could pull it to his stick. And the Marlies clear down. 30 seconds left in the Monster power play. 9 minutes left in the third. 5-1 the Cleveland lead. Beg your pardon, single game high for shots on goal 44. Rich Clune had a chance down the left wing, but it was poked away by Summerby, and then the pass out of the reach of Gallant. Will go down the ice, no icing though, so McAdam able to touch that to slow its progress for his defenseman. Long pass to center for Clune. 5 seconds left in the Marley kill. 8:40 left in this third period. 5-1 Cleveland. In the O zone, Clune sends it deep. Power play complete for the Monsters. They're 0 for 3. Resultantly 3 for 3 on the kill are the Marlies. Simpson went down to heap on the end wall here. Clune trying to pull that puck from beneath him. Hope Dylan Simpson's okay. He is. We'll go to immediate timeout. 8:42 left in the third. We are approaching clarity on whether the Monsters have more games to play this year. 5-1 Cleveland in the final frame, with more to come next on Alt 99.1. You know, in a 31-team AHL, you think about what the last day of the season is for most of the teams in the league. Unfortunately, just by the numbers, most of the teams in the league today are packing things in and thinking about summer vacation plans and the golf course and all those things. The Monsters fortunate enough to be one of the 16 teams, actually 17 teams in this case, that was thinking about getting the job done, finding the finish line, and continuing to compete for a Calder Cup championship. The Monsters today, after a loss for Belleville at home to Rochester earlier, knew that with a win, they'd be in. Even with a point, they'd be in. They're not there yet, but 8 minutes away from the end of this hockey game in Toronto. It's the Monsters leading 5-1. Welcome back, folks. Isn't it fun to be in the mix this time of year? Tony Brown with you on Alt 99.1. We're back to live action. Cleveland into the offensive zone. Now inside of 8 minutes left in regulation. Stick lifted on Conrad inside his own blue line by Cleveland's Broadhurst. He'll send it deep, and that makes for an easy change for the Monsters. DeSalvo joins his centerman, Mark Letestu. Bounces back up. Now into the far corner of the Monsters zone. Letestu takes over after Collins nudged it his way. Into the O zone, it's Milano. Drops it off Summerby, left circle, spins it back top of the right circle. Collins right on, fought off by McAdam. Really deserves a lot of credit today, does Eamon McAdam. Marlies know they're in the playoffs. They'll play Rochester in the first round in the 2-3 matchup. Here's Molino in front on Thiessen, snipped it off the glove of Thiessen, off the end glass. And Toronto's not going away in this game. Now 7 minutes left in regulation as the puck is back to neutral ice. So anyway, because Toronto knows they're the 3 seed in the North no matter what, they're resting numerous important players today. That doesn't mean that the Monsters haven't had to earn every inch of this lead that they have now at 5-1. McInnes had an assist earlier in the period on a Justin Scott goal that made it 4-1. This time, though, battling in that same part of the ice by the Toronto net. Sees the puck lifted past him to center. Scott, though, takes away, flicks to the cross corner from the left side of the neutral ice area. Back out to the neutral zone. Carlson dumps it in again for Cleveland. Countdown sort of started already. 6:20 left in the third. Monsters up by 4. Back inside the Cleveland line. Turcoff to the left side. Carlson, seen play ahead, almost connected with the Monsters' Cole Sherwood on a breakaway pass on the offensive blue line. To the far corner, though. Turcoff has it, spins up to Dasher. Right point, Collins. Left point, Summerby. Summerby looks, loads, and fires over the crossbar there. You could tell his eyes got big on that one. Now back inside the Cleveland zone, Collins is going to be called for interference here, trying to catch up to Clune. When we come back, the Monsters to the kill with 5:49 left in the game. 5-1 Cleveland looking to clinch a playoff berth. We'll see if they can do it next on Alt 99.1. .549 left in the third, 5-1 Monsters. Collins off for interference here, though, so power play 3 for Toronto. Welcome back to Coca-Cola Coliseum, everyone. Toronto knew before today's game they'd be playing in the Calder Cup Playoffs. The Monsters very much did not, but thanks to Rochester taking care of business in Belleville earlier today by a final of 4-2, all Cleveland needed was 1 point in this game. The Monsters on the verge of grabbing 2. 5:49 left in the third. Marlies fans deserve credit, as do the Marlies themselves. They've been here throughout, and they still are, loud and proud, supporting the defending Calder Cup champions. Monsters, they can manage to, even if they gave up 4 goals in the next 5:49, they'd be in. Trying to book a date in Syracuse next week. Savor it. Doesn't happen every year. Under 6 seconds, or 6 minutes, I should say, left in this third period. We wish it was 6 seconds. It'll get there. 5-1 Cleveland. 41 now remaining in the penalty. Back to action. Monsters clear one out of their own zone. Summerby lofts it all the way down. Summerby, Simpson communicating. Breaking out are the Marlies from their own zone. Bracco into the middle. Here's Duzak across the line on the right wing. Feeds it using the kick plate around the Monster end wall, near corner to far. Back again now for Summerby. Caught up to it in the near corner. Duzak pins up Summerby. Simpson has this one bounce below the goal line. Picked up by Timashov. Far side of his offensive zone for the Marlies. Sends one off the end wall with under 5 minutes now remaining in the third. Bracco to Duzak, right point, top of the left circle. Timashov on his forehand, his pass. Knocked off a stick, taken away by Scott and cleared. Vigneault and Scott exit. Entering are DeSalvo and Broadhurst. Summerby will change. Simpson stays on to join Carlson. Hit inside the offensive zone is going to be a penalty against DeSalvo. I'm not sure what for. He hit the puck carrier. Puck goes all the way down, touched by Thiessen, and the penalty will be called for hooking against DeSalvo. It'll be a 5-on-3 advantage for the Marlies now for 38 seconds as the clock stops with 4:26 left in the third period. It'll be the 4th power play for the Marlies. Well, the stick got a little parallel and around the waist. It at least makes it easier for the official to make the penalty call in that case. Face off right side of the defensive zone. Letestu is going to try to navigate this 2-man disadvantage with the help of Simpson and Carlson. Letestu to take the draw. 5-1 Cleveland, 4:26 left in the third. Letestu watches, pulls it back. In behind Thiessen, powered the length of the ice by Simpson. Got it past Bracco at the right point. 30 seconds left in the 5-on-3. Taken away down low. Out to center, the Marlies feed it back to Bracco. Right wing entry, Conrad. 18 seconds left in the 5-on-3. Into the slot, Bracco. Leaves it left point, Duzak. Now Timashov on his offhand, top of the right circle. 4 minutes left in the game. 5-1 Cleveland. Conrad fans on a shot. Monsters clear it. out of play from inside their own zone, but on a deflection. Was concerned at the prospect of a potential delay of game, but no, it was tipped, says the linesman. So the faceoff stays inside the Cleveland zone. So Testu lines up outside the blue line. He's being stubborn about the position of the draw, I think, here. No, he's waiting there, and after a conversation, Testu knew exactly where the faceoff would come, and the officials deliberated and got it right. 5 seconds left in the 5-on-3. Goes to show Mark Testu's been around the block a bit. Faceoff controlled by the Marlies. Top of the left circle, now to the right circle, it's Moore. Out of the box is the first penalized player. Shot on, saved by Thiessen. Rebound to Bradley in the far circle for the Marlies. Twisting away with 1:09 remaining on the fourth power play for the Marlies. Long shot right on. Thiessen the save. Monsters 3 for 4 on the kill, trying to make it 4 for 4. Faceoff will come to the right side of the Monsters' defensive zone. Cleveland just deserves a lot of credit for their approach here today. The way that they've gone about their business. Monsters clear out of their defensive end all the way down the ice. Marlies break it out up the right side. 5-1 Cleveland, closing in on a playoff berth. 3:10 remaining in the third. 44 seconds left in PK4. Milano and Broadhurst, Carlson and Collins. Errant feed and neutralized by the Marlies. Sniffed out by Collins, who spun one around, but offside is called as Bradley juggled on the offensive blue for Toronto. Monsters stuck on 41 shots to 17 for Toronto. Face-off outside the Monster blue line. McKinnis take there. Can't win the draw. Elenick pulls it back for the Marlies. Under 3 minutes left in regulation. 5-1 Cleveland. Conrad through center for the Marlies. 20 seconds left in the penalty to Dan DeSalvo. Monsters tried to send it all the way down the ice. Rassinen's skates prevented that. Dropped in by the Marlies again by Elenick to the near corner of the Monsters zone. This one scooped off the end wall by Collins and filtered the length. DeSalvo to his skate blades. He'll step out of the box now. Monsters 4 for 4 on the PK, back to full and even strength. 2:25 remaining in regulation. Big drive, this one wide by Basso. Off the end wall of the Monsters zone. Picked up again by the Marlies. They'll send it out right point, Rassinen. Towards the net, tipped on its way by Elenick. Fought off by Thiessen. Another drive, this time blocked was the shot in the slot by Simpson. None the worse for where he's back to his skates. Held in right point though by Conrad. Now 2 minutes left in this third period. Conrad in the near corner. Works up against the grain. Pushed off by Vigneault. Penalty coming against Sam Vigneault for holding here. Monsters to the kill. It'll be the 5th power play for Toronto. Monsters 4 for 4 thus far on the PK. Well, we're inside of 2 minutes left in the third period. The Monsters have a 4-goal lead, so I guess we can start at least openly addressing the fact that Cleveland is going to play the Syracuse Crunch. The first round of the Calder Cup Playoffs, should this score hold, Toronto would need 5 goals in the next minute 54 to prevent that from happening. What a prospect. Face-off controlled by Toronto in the O-zone. Dusak in the near corner of the Monsters' end. Puck taken away. Dalpy skips one out through center. Entering today, this was the final playoff spot that was unaccounted for across the AHL. And on this final day of the regular season, the Monsters need to send a thank you card down to Rochester, New York for the Amherst for what they achieved against the Belleville Senators just down the QEW earlier today in Belleville. Because if Belleville would have won that game against the Amherst, Belleville would have won no matter what, or would have gone to the playoffs no matter what Cleveland achieved here against the Marlies. 1 minute left in this third period. Monsters counting it down, up 4 goals at 5-1. Subban pinned up by McInnes out at neutral ice. McInnes sends it all the way down, but Subban got a piece, so no icing. 45 seconds left. Dusak up the right side. Brown run into by Summerby on the Monster line. 35 seconds left in regulation. Sent out to center by the Marlies. Now 30 seconds to go. A 4-game winless streak at a difficult time of the year to endure one of those after a 9-game point streak had the Monsters on the ropes entering this last day of the regular season. Big drive, Rassinen knocked down in front of Thiessen. 15 seconds left. But Cleveland said before the game today, from their head coach to every player we spoke with, they were going to bury their heads, they were going to churn their legs, they were going to find the finish line. And as an offside here stops time with 1.6 seconds left in the third, the conclusion foregone. The Monsters can punch their ticket moments from now for just the third time in the history of the franchise to the Calder Cup Playoffs. The Blue Jackets, underdogs in the first round against the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Monsters against the North Division champion Syracuse Crunch. They'll be seen as underdogs too. Guess what? The Crunch are the Lightning's top affiliate. Puck drops, horn sounds, game over. Cleveland's season ain't done yet. Onward, upward to the Calder Cup Playoffs. March the Monsters. A 5-1 win in Toronto is your final score. And a happy bus ride home to Northeast Ohio. More games to be played for these Monsters. Again, your final 5-1. Cleveland gets the job done, and they will cap their regular season with a record of 37-29, 8-2. They take 5 of 8 in the season series against Toronto. All that matters now is their next 5 games, and those will be against the Syracuse Crunch in the Calder Cup Playoffs. Monsters win it. They're playoff bound. The celebration underway on the ice, and I'm sure this ride back to Cleveland tonight made much more pleasant by this outcome today. Monsters win it 5-1. The Calder Cup Playoffs up next. We'll have details on that and more when we come back with our brief but informative post-game show. Medical Mutual final stats, jackpot play of the game, Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans 3 stars. The Monsters are playoff bound, baby. We'll tell you all about it when we return to Toronto one final time on the Monsters Hockey Network. Gallant, he stashes forward for Summerby, and he'll tick it into the O zone. Right circle, Summerby fires, he scores! Doyle Summerby joins the rush, rewarded with the Monsters' third goal. 2-goal lead for Cleveland. Gallant found him off the glass, and Summerby clicked it past the right arm of McAdam and in for a 3-1 Monsters lead. There you have it, folks, your jackpot play of the game, brought to you by Jack Cleveland Casino, your entertainment destination. It was a huge insurance goal. At the time, it made it 3-1. Monsters ended up prevailing by a final of 5-1, but at 12 minutes of period 3, Doyle Summerby, the author of your jackpot play of the game. Again, brought to you by Jack Cleveland Casino. your entertainment destination. Folks, Dateline Toronto, the Monsters are in. Final day of the regular season bears fruit for Cleveland. They're bound for Syracuse in the first round of the Calder Cup Playoffs. For the third time in the history of the franchise, the Monsters march into the postseason, and it is the first playoff berth for Cleveland since 2016, and we all remember that memorable run. Monsters win it 5-1. Back to cap things off one last time from Coca-Cola Coliseum. Tonight's game was brought to you by Discount Drug Mart, the store that saves you the runaround, and by Jack Cleveland Casino. Sign up for Club Jack today. Play $10, get $10. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 800-589-9966 or visit org.ohio.gov. Coming up, your Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans, 3 stars of the game. Let's get straight into, though, our Medical Mutual final stats. Way back in the second period, 20 seconds in after a scoreless first, Zach Dalpe picked up his 33rd of the year from Summerby and Collins. That made it 1-0 for Cleveland. Monsters then saw that lead dissipate with a goal for Elenick at 9:11 of the second. Rastanen and Molino, the assist at even strength, tied the game at 1. From there, Cleveland scored 4 in a row. At 9:56 of the second, Letestu's 21st from DeSalvo and Milano at even strength made it 2-1 Monsters. 3-1 Monsters on Summerby's 8th at 12 minutes. That was your jackpot play of the game. That in the second period. Galanthalone assist and even strength goal. Then Cleveland made it 4-1 in the third, 2 minutes and 15 seconds into that final stanza. McInnes found Justin Scott on the doorstep. 13th of the year for Scotty at even strength. That made it 4-1. And then putting the cherry on top was Derek Barash with an unassisted even strength goal, his 7th at 3:40 of the third. That was it. Seals a 5-1 win for the Monsters and a trip to Central New York and Onondaga County War Memorial Arena for playoff hockey. What a statement to make for the Monsters. They end a 4-game winless streak with a 5-1 win today. In the first period, 20-2, the shot advantage for Cleveland. In the second, 13-10, the Monsters outshot the Marlies. In the third, 8-6, Cleveland had the edge in shots, 41 shots to 18 for the Marlies. Monsters win that battle handily. Toronto 0 for 5 in the power play. Monsters 5 for 5 in the kill. Cleveland 0 for 3 with the extra man. Marlies 3 for 3 while down a skater. Brad Thiessen picks up the win in net, his 13th consecutive appearance with no end in sight for the Monsters. He caps the regular season with a record of 12-8-4, 17 saves today. Meanwhile, 36 saves for Eamon McAdam, but he falls to cap the season in 19 appearances to 9-5-4 between the pipes for Toronto. That's it for your Medical Mutual final stats. Your Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans, 3 stars of the game as follows. Third star is Hudson Elenick for Toronto. Today, he picked up a goal and 2 shots. Second star, Brad Thiessen with his 17 saves. The Monsters goaltender Doyle Summerby had a goal, an assist, and a big insurance goal at that in the second period, a +2 rating as well. So Summerby is your Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans _1 star of the game today. Folks, and I mean immediately, make sure you check out the Monsters' social media channels, clevelandmonsters.com, and of course, the AHL.com as well. Full playoff first round scheduling information will be released momentarily by the Monsters and, of course, I would imagine the Syracuse Crunch as well. But that will dictate our broadcast situation and the next time the Monsters are on the air. What we can tell you is whenever that happens, it will be right here on Alt 99.1 as Cleveland, for the third time in the history of the Monsters franchise, into the Calder Cup Playoffs with a 5-1 win today. Monsters are in, and I just am elated at that prospect. As the Blue Jackets try to take down the Lightning tonight in Game 3, the Monsters will take on the Lightning's affiliate in Syracuse in Game 1 of a North Division semifinal series as the Monsters, for the first time in 3 seasons, play for the Calder Cup. Once you're in, anything can happen, and the Monsters are the last team to get in this year in the AHL playoffs. That's all we have for you tonight for the regular season and for tonight's game in Toronto at Coca-Cola Coliseum. So many thank yous to hand out. Our executive producer is Dave Dombrowski. Our engineering staff led by Joe Freachin, the best there is. Thanks to both of those guys for everything they do and their staff as well. Our broadcast manager and traffic coordinator, the one and only Ryan Boobanks, and our radio producer and engineer is the one and only Stacy Knox. Stace, we're going to have some more games, so we'll talk to you before too long. Monsters, Crunch, book it. First round playoff series begins soon. Check the Monsters' social channels for details momentarily. Monsters end the campaign with a victory in Toronto over the defending Calder Cup champions. We'll see you in the playoffs. So long from Toronto, I'm Tony Brown. It's been a presentation of the Cleveland Monsters in the AHL, and all season you heard it only here on Alt 99.1. So long, everybody.